The Superstation. Sports.
He did it! He did it! Rentería!
Greg Maddox comes through.
Boy, he's making a push for that MVP.
And what Andrew says, Andrew does. It is a slam for Galarraga.
Hello again, everybody. Along with Joe Simpson, Skip Carey, welcoming you to another night of Atlanta Braves baseball, this time from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where the Braves and the Cardinals will meet for the first time this year. And once again, Joe, we run up against a really good ball club.
The St. Louis team's in first place in the Central Division, Skip, but they've lost a little bit off their lead. They had a 10-game lead on July 5th. That lead is down to 5 games, and it's primarily due to the loss of Mark McGwire. The team is only 9-14 since he went on the disabled list with some tendonitis in his knee, and they've had to do some things to try to take up the slack in his absence. They've added a few players, a couple of guys for their bullpen, Mike Timlin over from Baltimore, Jason Christensen over from the Pirates, and 2 guys in their lineup that are both in there tonight. Will Clark's going to play first base for McGwire until he's ready to come back. And also Carlos Hernandez, a guy we've seen do a good job behind the plate for the San Diego Padres, and he certainly shores up the Cardinals' defense. But right now, the Reds are breathing down their neck, and the Cardinals have got to turn it up a notch.
Tom Glavine on the mound for Atlanta tonight, and Andy Benes, a big right-hander, will throw for the Cardinals. Back with the starting lineups, then the play-by-play story right after this.
After midnight, we gonna let it all hang down.
Just one tiny Claritin relieves seasonal allergy symptoms for 24 hours without making you sleepy. So if you took one in the morning, after midnight, you'd still have hours and hours of relief coming. Occurrence of side effects like headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth is as low as with a sugar pill.
After midnight.
Talk to your doctor about Claritin soon, during regular office hours.
They call it the duel in the dust. And for those who compete in the Score Desert Series, it means more pounding, more rattling, and more punishment than you can shake a stick at. That's why so many off-road racers rely on the Duralast battery from AutoZone. A battery so tough, so dependable, it comes with a 2-year free replacement guarantee. The Duralast battery from AutoZone. Don't settle for anything less.
Hey, Mark, you order all this food?
Yeah, anywhere. And I don't have any money. I'm cash poor.
Your dinner, you pay for it.
We're trying to get a little work done here.
Mark?
Can you add it on to whatever I'm paying you to live here?
Sort of like room service?
Yeah.
What's this look like? A Holiday Inn?
You want room service? You got it. Holiday Inn gives you more, and more is better.
Braves baseball on the Superstation, brought to you by Doc Otis, a new flavored alcohol malt beverage. Real lemon, real refreshment. Unlock the Doc. By Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. By the more than 2,800 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Holiday Inn, who gives you more, and more is better.
Well, we're in the shadows of the gateway to the west, the Arch here in St. Louis, on a not so hot but a little bit muggy night. Certainly not as hot as what the Braves went through in Phoenix as the St. Louis Cardinals take the field. It was 108 yesterday in Phoenix. Temperature tonight here at game time right around 88 degrees. The Braves arrived in the wee hours of the morning at 5 a.m. is when they got to the hotel here in St. Louis. So if the guys appear to be a little groggy tonight or a little lead-footed, then you know why, because they are a little bit of a tired group as they face the Cardinals tonight. Here's the starting lineup for Bobby Cox tonight. Rafael Furcal will lead things off, and he'll play shortstop. Andrew Jones bats second in center field. Chipper Jones will hit third at third base. Brian Jordan returns to St. Louis, where he started his career and played for 6 years. He's in right field. Andres Galarraga, also a former Cardinal, will be at first base. V.J. Surhoff is in left field, batting sixth. The bottom third of the order, Javi Lopez will do the catching. Keith Lockhart at second base. Tom Glavine is the pitcher. Defensively for the St. Louis Cardinals, Eduardo Perez is in left field. Jim Edmonds in center, and 38-year-old Eric Davis in right field tonight. Fernando Tatis at third base. Edgar Renteria, two-time All-Star at shortstop. Placido Polanco plays at second base as Fernando Vina is nursing a sore thumb. Will Clark, as we mentioned, in the lineup for Mark McGwire at first base. Carlos Hernandez over from the Padres will do the catching, and Andy Benes on the mound. Great big guy, 32 years old now, 6'6", 245 out of Evansville, Indiana. He's in his 11th year and having maybe arguably his best year. He was a former 18-game winner for the Cardinals before he went to the Diamondbacks. Came back this year as a free agent, but look what he's done since last year's All-Star game. He has a 20-8 record, 18-8 record rather, since last year's All-Star game. So he's pitching great, and he's won 10 or more games in 6 straight seasons. If there's one thing that's plaguing him right now, he's got a sore knee, and he's wearing a knee brace on his right knee. He's had to have it drained a couple of times in recent days, and he is 0-2 over his last 3 starts, and that's a follow-up to 6 straight wins, 4-1 here at home. Umpires for tonight's game: Steve Ripley, the veteran crew chief, behind the plate. Greg Gibson at first. Ed Rapawano at second. Tim Timmons at third. The Braves last year were 8-1 against the Cardinals, 3-0 here at Busch Stadium. They'll try to continue that success before a packed house here in a beautiful ballpark for baseball.
Okay, Joe, Furcal is hitting .298 with 18 RBIs. He has 23 stolen bases. And we're ready to go. They're still filing in here. Boy, they all dress in red. It's like a Nebraska football game. The wind on the first pitch of the ball game. Right through there, a strike, and we're underway. Benes, a little bit outside this time, 1-1. 84 degrees at game time. Very nice weather by St. Louis standards in August. Low, 2 balls and a strike.
One of the things that people will attribute some of Andy's success to this year is his willingness to pitch inside more than he has done in the past. We'll keep an eye on that.
He misses again, and the count goes to 3-1, and you know that this is a man he doesn't want to put on base. Full count, 3-2.
Furcal was just 2 for 12 in the series at Phoenix. Scored only 1 run.
Pop foul back and out of play.
But the reason for that is that all the Braves runs in Phoenix came by way of home runs. 2 two-run homers in game 1. They got shut out in game 2 by Schilling. And then last night, a 3-run homer by Brian Jordan, a pinch hit homer by Joyner.
They walked him, and a good start for Atlanta. Are you as tired of reading these same promos over and over as I am? Well, we don't have to do them over here, do we? Okay, so why come
to you?
Here's Andrew Jones.
He had a good series in Phoenix. 6 for 12 with a homer. There aren't too many guys in the lineup, though, that have had a lot of success against Andy, despite his 6-13 all-time record against Atlanta. That's a bad mark, but his ERA is very good. It's under 4. So he's pitched in some tough luck. And only Javi Lopez with really good numbers against him in the lineup tonight.
I'll tell you what's a little scary for Atlanta. The Cardinals have outscored their opponents in the first inning 108-61. And you know the Braves have first inning troubles from time to time. Swung, tapped foul. Furcal bluffed to start from first.
It looked a little bit like a missed hit and run, maybe, the way Andrew went after that ball. Rafael needs 1 more stolen base to set the all-time record for most stolen bases by a 19-year-old. Good lead.
There he goes. Fouled back. Braves as a team hitting .269, and their opponents 10 points below that. 0-2 the count.
When the Cardinals have all of their regulars in the lineup, it's an outstanding defensive team. There's Mark McGwire, still on the disabled list with tendonitis in his knee. But the St. Louis team's second in the league in defense. They've only made 65 errors this year.
You got to tip your hat to their general manager, Walt Johnkerty, too. He has really built a good team here, and then went out and got Will Clark. And so they don't miss a beat with McGwire hurt. Clark is no McGwire, who is, but he's a fine, fine ball player. Strike called outside corner. Andrew didn't think so. 1 out.
A couple of breaking balls and then a fastball with the catcher way outside.
Oh, smoke.
And for Steve Ripley, he decided it did come back enough. I don't think it did.
Oh, it's nowhere near.
No.
Let's check the old catcher's box here. Chipper at 318, 24 homers, 79 RBI.
Hasn't had a home run in almost 3 weeks. His last home run was at Tampa Bay.
He normally hits pretty well in this park, if I recall correctly. Good move. Chases Furcal back. John Burkett, Garrett Stevenson tomorrow afternoon. Snap throw to first. Into right field. Furcal is up and flying around second. He is going to stop there. That'll be an error on the pitcher, I would guess. And a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Hernandez, a good throwing catcher. Likes to throw, likes to show off his arm. And thought he could pick off Furcal. But threw low, and Will Clark couldn't knock it down. 2.
So now a base hit, and Chipper will have his 80th RBI. Furcal edges away at second base. There's the strike. 1-1 the count.
Chipper said this is one of the better fielding surfaces in the National League. Very smooth. You always get good hops.
Swung and missed.
And a good batter's eye out there, too, where you can pick the ball up.
1-2 the count.
Let me go over and I'll call you back.
Fouled back. Count stays the same.
When you get in at 5 a.m. local time and know you've got a game tonight, you want to sleep as long as you can and hope that the phone doesn't ring, or at least put a block on the phone or something, and try to make it as dark in your room as possible. And I think the guys, for the most part, all slept in today. Those that could sleep late didn't wake up at the crack of dawn.
Strike 3 call. Ripley calls out Chipper Jones as well and takes a look into the Atlanta dugout. Bobby didn't appear to be on him.
Boy, Steve Ripley's given the pitchers that tonight on both sides of the plate, 1 to Andrew and 1 to Chipper. It's going to be a tough night for the hitters. You better swing early in the count.
Brian Jordan gets booed a little bit. He left the Cardinals to sign with Atlanta. But he still has a lot of friends here. Now look where Hernandez caught that ball. He's way outside that catcher's box. I guess they call that rule on just on some teams.
Yeah, hopefully it's not something that will be an issue tonight on either side.
Strike called, 1-1.
You know, in a way, that whole thing is almost an insult to umpires that they don't have. It's almost like you're saying that if a catcher sets up off the plate outside or inside, the umpires don't have the good sense to know what a strike is. They do. The catcher's box is really kind of a stupid thing to begin with.
Yeah, the umpire's got enough to do, doesn't he?
Yeah, he knows what's a strike. It doesn't matter where the catcher sets up.
The 1-2 pitch. Swung, popped up. Into short right field. Eric Davis is there, and the inning is over. No hits, no runs, 1 error, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the first, no score.
This is beyond edgy.
We go to the bottom of the first inning. The T-Jill starting lineup for Tony La Russa tonight includes Edgar Rentería at the top of the order, Eduardo Perez in left field, Jim Edmonds having a terrific year in center. Eric Davis is just tearing up lefties. A .458 mark so far this year. He'll be followed by Fernando Tatis and Will Clark. Bottom third of the order, Hernandez, Polanco, and Bennis. For the Braves defensively, Surhoff in left, Andrew in center, Jordan in right, Chipper, Rafael, Keith, and the big cat from third to first. Javi Lopez will do the catching, and Tom Glavine on the mound has won 6 straight, including his 200th victory his last time out against the Houston Astros. You can see it's been a season of streaks for him, and he's on a good one right now. First time he's won 6 in a row in one season since the '96 campaign.
And Rentería takes the strike, and we're underway. Well, we want to congratulate a couple of members of our crew, our director Dan Reagan and producer Scott Cockrell. Ground ball up the middle. What a play by Furcal, and he throws him out. That's a big league play. Range to the second base side of the bag, 1 away.
Hard to set up and throw him, get much on your throw from this position too. Got it right in the web of his glove. And then a laser over to the cat.
Danny will, for the second year, direct the Atlanta Thrashers hockey team in the season ahead, and Scott, for the first year, will be their producer, and those two together will do a bang-up job. We're happy for both of them. Eduardo Perez, nobody's going to get that one, a solid single. And here's a guy who has taken this city by storm, Jim Edmonds. I don't know why they're high on him. He's only hitting .331. He only has 32 homers, and he only has 77 RBIs.
He's playing a great center field. Have the good fortune the next 3 days to watch 2 of the better center fielders, maybe the 2 best center fielders in baseball, certainly in the 2 guys that are in the top 3 or 4.
Galarraga holds the runner aboard. Strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
Edmonds has fanned 112 times in 354 at bats, but who's noticing? He's got a .441 on base percentage. He's scored 102 runs.
A ball and a strike.
That's a pretty good deal. They got him from the Angels for Kent Bottenfield,
who has since moved on. I think Walt Jocarty is one of the leading candidates for Executive of the Year this year.
They've got some pitchers healthy, too. They were battling some pretty sore arms among some of their young talent, and those guys have gotten healthy, and they're contributing again. Andy Bennis's younger brother, Alan, Matt Morris, two key parts of their rotation, or of their pitching staff right now.
This Edmonds, a very popular figure here in St. Louis. The 3-1 pitch. Renner leads. He walked him. So the Cardinals threaten early. 2 on, 1 out.
Tommy thought he threw a strike. He hasn't walked many batters in recent starts. Change up. Had the plate, I guess, too low for Steve Ripley on that occasion. Tommy's only walked 2 batters in his last 4 starts before that one.
Eric Davis hitting .325. Talk about your comebacks. This guy has had his share. Pop foul back and out of play. He's an athlete they say is almost in too good a shape. He is so muscular and has so little fat on his body that he gets hurt because he doesn't have any protection.
He's battled back from a serious bout with cancer.
Nice fella, too. Up and in. A ball and a strike. And did he call it a strike? Wow.
Right at the glove, though, where Javi was set up. Maybe that's why they got the call. Well, consistent anyway.
Yeah, that's right. 1-2 is the count. And it's even 2 balls, 2 strikes.
In recent days, the Cardinals' struggles have gone 8-12 over the last 20 games, but you also have to take into consideration that they've been on the road a ton. Of those 20 games, 17 have been on the road. And then they've got, for the rest of the season, a majority of their games at home.
Fernando Tatis is on deck. Swinging bunt, but fouled on the third base line. 2-2 the count.
They've got a schedule that's in their favor too, Skip.
Now they do.
Yeah. They've got games, of course, here left with Atlanta home and away. They've got some games left with the Mets, but then the rest of the way, they've got some teams with some sub-500 records that should help them in their battle with Cincinnati.
Fernando Tatis is on deck. There's a look at Tony La Russa, Cardinals' fine manager.
A lot of games left with the lower part of their division.
Ground ball to first. Galarraga to second. Out there, and that's all they'll get. They're on the corners with 2 out. Davis hits into a 3-6 fielder's choice.
Nice feed from the big cat. They helped Furcal get out of the way of Edmonds. And then he was looking back to make sure Perez didn't round third too far.
Fernando Tatis hitting .313, 14 homers, 50 runs driven in. He's had a bout with the disabled list. He reminds me a little bit of Pedro Guerrero, the way he stands in there.
Pedro had some good years with the Cardinals after coming over from Los Angeles. Tatis doesn't get cheated. He has a big cut. He's hitting 5 straight.
One and one now.
Tatis, the only man in baseball history to hit 2 grand slam home runs in the same inning.
Joe, if you want to give any scores, do it any time, because that's too small for my eyes. That scoreboard out there.
They've sure done a great job, though, of dressing this park up, converting it from a multi-purpose facility to a baseball park.
Tatis comes up empty. And another 2-2 count. Will Clark on deck. The Mets play later at Phoenix.
You can see that World Championship pavilion with the flags in left center, over in right center, all the retired numbers. The out-of-town scoreboard.
That should end the inning, and it does. So Glavine gets into a little bit of trouble, gets out of it. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of an inning, no score. Andres Galarraga leads off the second inning and gets a nice hand. He's a former Cardinal. And everybody, of course, rooting for a guy who's battling back from cancer, as did Derek Davis.
I mentioned earlier that Galarraga, or excuse me, that Chipper had gone a while without a home run. Andres has gone even longer. 14th of July at Baltimore, his last home run.
Well, we're ready to go. I wish our bullpens were like they were here. Are here. High pop right side. Clark chases it, and runs out of row. 0-1. They are visible to the stands, the bullpens here. Not so in Atlanta. You see the good numbers on Tommy Glavine for the year.
And likewise Bennis with 120 strikeouts. He's on a pace to break his own personal record.
A ball and a strike.
Struck out 189 back in 1994.
Oh, I'll tell you what, as tired as we all are, Skip and Joe and our radio producer Dave Baker shared a cab over here tonight. Lazy fly. 1 out as Perez puts it away. And I have never laughed so hard in my life. We had a cab driver, one of the happiest men I've ever been around, just screaming out laughter.
And it was good that he was laughing because we could understand only about 1 out of every 6 words he was telling us.
That's some German festival here. That's what we started on. There's a strike over the outside corner to B.J. Surhoff.
Yeah, we went through the German Fest to the Navy, his Navy experience.
To baseball. Pop foul back.
And you got to keep in mind that we're only like 5 blocks from the hotel.
Ground ball right at the second baseman. Surhoff is retired. Here's Javi. Don and I will have the game on Braves radio tomorrow while Joe and Pete once again have a day off.
Add them up, that's all I say. Add them up.
You'll come up 1 short.
Add them up.
A wind to pitch.
It's hard for me not to call you a part-timer anymore.
Boy, that really hurts. Supposed to be 162 here tomorrow, and I'll be here at the ballpark. Yeah, plus those 2-hour pre-games I've been doing on radio. How dare you call me a part-time?
Just try to keep it together, okay?
I will. 2-1 the count.
Bobby's has run into a little bit of a snag after his great July. It's nothing serious, but 0 for his last 8. Didn't have a hit in Phoenix.
Chased a bad ball. Full count, 3-2. Same 2 teams tomorrow. John Burkett and Garrett Stevenson pitch. Then Kevin Millwood and Darrell Kyle. Lazy pop into short center. Edmonds is there, and the inning is over.
Boy, the wind grabbed that. Kind of surprised Jim.
He had to kick in the afterburners. No hits, no runs, no errors, and as you might expect, no one left. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. We are scoreless in St. Louis.
St. Louis Cardinal tied with Martinez and Mussina. Your Wendy's leaderboard.
Everybody's on their feet here, I guess, to welcome Will Clark.
His first at bat in St. Louis as a Cardinal.
He's hitting .800 with a homer and 2 RBIs. And he corks one into deep center field. Andrew Jones going back. That ball is gone. Mark who? Cardinals.
Even for a grizzled veteran, what a thrill that must be. First pitch. And nothing cheap about it either, to deep left center. He is now 5 for 6 with 2 homers and a double as a Cardinal.
They want a curtain call, and here it is. Carlos Hernandez, the batter. Carlos doesn't quite get the same welcome.
Come to think of it, no, he didn't.
In fairness, the fans are still cheering Clark. Do you think Mark McGuire's thinking about Wally Pipp?
Probably not.
I don't think so either. 2 balls and a strike.
Although one account of their acquisition of Will Clark is related to the success Wally Joyner has had.
Hernandez blast one into left. So the new guys are going. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's been said that the Cardinals have seen what Wally Joyner's done for the Braves as kind of a backup, a veteran to back up Galarraga, and they took a page from that book to bring in Clark.
Placido Polanco is the batter for St. Louis now. He is not a newcomer. Runner at first and opening out. Cardinals lead at 1-0.
That home run by Will Clark, the 15th allowed by Tom Glavine this year, but 11 have been solo, including that one.
Polanco out of the Dominican Republic. He hails from Santo Domingo. Came up through the Cardinals organization and played for Miami-Dade Community College.
He's a good player and a good utility player, good backup for La Russa, and he's, as you see by those numbers, has done well when he's been in there.
Placido Polanco is pretty good tender too, huh?
That would be Placido Domingo.
Oh, excuse me.
And not to be confused with the song, of course, Una Paloma Blanco, which I've heard you sing before.
Oh, yeah. And very well, I might add. Base hit, right field. Runner will stop at second. And all of a sudden, the Cardinals are going nuts here. Venice, the hitter. And a good one, by the way, but he'll be bunting, I would guess, in this spot.
Batting ninth, number 40, pitcher, Andy Venice.
They're really jumping on Tom early in the count.
What you want to stay away from, of course, is a big inning. You can live with a solo home run early in the game. The bunt is foul, 0-1. Galarraga charged hard from third base.
You can see he's right up there with pitchers who have hit a few long balls, including John Smoltz. Only Dwight Gooden among active pitchers has more homers than Andy. He's got one this year.
Saw John before the game playing catch. He was throwing the ball pretty hard. I hope he's supposed to do that. Snap throw to second, safe.
Pretty close play, though. Almost caught Hernandez dancing off too far. Very close. Not the way you want to make the first out of the inning.
He shows bunt. Now he is going to bunt. He does, and it's a good one. Only play to first in time. Lockhart covered over there. A 1-4 sacrifice. Second and third, one out. Good job by Venice. He helped himself by moving the runners up.
Wasn't moving very good, though. He was favoring that right knee. Must be something that's very painful to him.
Infield plays back for the Braves, willing to concede a run for an out. The reason they do that is if you play in, you're liable to allow 2 runs to score on a little blue pit.
Anything hit to the corners, to Chipper or to the big cat, they'll probably come home, but everybody else go for 1 out.
Rentería fouls it away, grounded to short his first time. Eduardo Perez on deck. Glavine again ready. Swung and a high fly ball into deep left center field. Andrew Jones tags, has it, run scores. Other runner stays at second, and it's 2-0. Sacrifice fly RBI for Edgar Rentería. Hernandez crosses the plate. And Polanco is still at second.
And like you said, you can live with that. Sacrifice a run for an out to try to cut down on this inning that started with a home run and 2 singles. Could have developed into something real ugly, but hopefully for Tom, he can get this out here and go on, and his offense can pick him up. His teammates are averaging over 6 runs a game for him in support of this winning streak.
Eduardo Perez singled his first time outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Two and 0. Eduardo, of course, Tony Perez's son. There's a strike. It's 2-1.
Yeah, Tommy made him do what Tommy makes a lot of hitters do. 2-0. Chase a bad ball on a changeup. They're looking for a fastball down the middle and rarely get one from him.
Pop. Chipper Jones, foul territory, has room. Not much room, but just enough, and the inning is over. The Cardinals break on top, though. They scored 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors, 1 runner left at the end of 2. St. Louis 2, Atlanta nothing.
We go to the top of the 3rd inning. The Cardinals have drawn first blood. We take a look at the Office Depot scoreboard for other games. Florida's taken a 2-0 lead over Cincinnati. Dempster against Harnish there. Montreal 3 in the first at Houston against Chris Holt. Everything else just getting underway or will start a little bit later in the National League. The American League, Kansas City's playing some pretty good baseball right now, and they've jumped on Jeff Fassero in Boston. 4-0. Kansas City on top. Cleveland and Anaheim having a slugfest. Sandy Alomar Jr. and Hobart Cabrera have already homered for Cleveland. Minnesota and Detroit tied at 1. Bernie Williams is homered for the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez for Seattle. That's a big series. 4 games between the Mariners and Yanks this weekend.
Big series for both teams. Keith Lockhart leads it off. Takes outside. 1 ball, no strike. Boy, he's got a good-looking little girl, doesn't he?
Oh, man. Nice family.
Yeah, they're nice people. Outside.
Pretty little girl and his son.
There they are. Danielle and Sydney are the kids. And Lisa is Keith's wife. 3-0 the count. You're going to miss big doings here tomorrow, Joe. As Lockhart draws the 2nd walk of the evening. KMOX Radio, which has been the Cardinals station since as long as I can remember, celebrating their 75th year on the air. And talk show host Rush Limbaugh is going to throw out the first ball. He's a native Missourian.
Yeah, he used to work for the Royals.
Mm-hmm. John Sherhouse laughs about him, says he used to be yammering at the water cooler saying the same things he's saying now for millions of dollars. Glavine is going to bunt and does. Good one. Only play to first. Plenty of time there. 1 away. Another 1-4 sacrifice. So the Braves have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Again, Andy Bendis not moving all that nimbly with that knee brace on, and that's to be expected, but made that play just fine.
Let's see if Furcal tries to take advantage of that and leg out a bunt.
That wouldn't be such a bad play. He's driven in some runs for the Braves. He's got 18 RBIs, but if Bendis is having a little trouble moving off the mound and can't cover first, that might not be a bad play at all right here.
Runner at second, 1 away. 2-0 St. Louis, our score. There's a strike to Rafi.
He's hitting .237 with men in scoring position. That's not so good. And the difference between his home average and his road average, almost 140 points difference. Only .227 on the road.
Big Braves fan Bill Pauley looking in tonight, a native of St. Louis, still makes his home here, but rooting hard for it left. The 1-1 pitch. Outside, it's 2-1. Burkett and Stevenson tomorrow. Well hit right field. Short hop, and it gets by. Watch Furcal now. He's around second. He's racing for third. He'll make it without a play. Boy, can he run. It'll be a base hit. An RBI and an error on the right fielder, Eric Davis.
Eric Davis has always been a very good defensive outfielder, as you see Furcal pick on that high fastball, but he was thinking more about trying to throw the runner out at the plate. And with a guy like Furcal, you just can't afford to run the risk of booting the ball and not coming up with it cleanly. If it does get by you, it's at least 3 bases and the possibility of an inside the park job or a 3-base error.
And once again, the infield is back. There's 1 out in the inning. Pitch to Andrew Jones outside. I assume they called that a single RBI and an error on the right fielder. They did. Now an infield grounder to short or second would play to run. High drive into left field. Pretty well hit. Furcal tags in left center. The catch by Edmonds. His throw to the plate is a good one. But Furcal is in there safe, and he scrambled the catcher as he did so. That's a pretty good play. Hernandez was blocking the plate before he got the ball, and Furcal just ran right over him.
Well, Hernandez is trying to show his new teammates that he's not afraid to take a hit at the plate, and he really took a big risk here. Great throw by Edmonds to make this close against a very fast runner, but give Furcal credit too for going in hard and knocking his feet out from under him. Hernandez standing right in front of home plate, trying to keep Furcal from getting there. I'm happy to see Furcal's okay. Those shin guards can take a bite out of you.
Chipper Jones pops another one up into left field. Perez has it, and the inning is over, but the Cardinals tie the game. They scored 2 runs. They do it on 1 hit. There was a very costly error, and 1 runner was left. Check it. Nobody is left. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. It's one of those ballet games. 2-2.
Meet Mel.
Dow Jones closed today up 76.1 at 10,767.7. We keep you up to date on everything here. Why are you shaking your head?
Because the print's too small for you, remember?
I'm wrong with that, too?
It's up 61.1.
Oh. Well, that's still good.
But it was up.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a close look there.
Another million for Skip.
I wish. Jim Edmonds fouls the first pitch off. I'm just trying to get by, buddy.
That's why we call you Mr. Eek.
Eking it out. Joe's headed for his 30th high school reunion tomorrow in Oklahoma.
Should be fun. Never been to one. Have you ever been to any of your reunions?
I have not. One and one the count. Low and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Edmonds walked his first time. Sharply hit. Galarraga can't handle it. It's into right field. He still can't find it. Edmonds is going to try. Here's the throw. He is safe. The ball gets away. Boy, what a hustle by Edmonds. See how they scored. It'll probably be an error on Galarraga.
I would think so, and that's the second time in 2 nights that Andres has gotten his feet a little tangled up over there as he was going over to field a ball to his left. And he didn't even know where it went after it caromed off of him, and by the time Brian Jordan recovered and got the baseball in, Edmonds had hustled into second base. Nice play by Edmonds.
Here's Eric Davis, who hit into a force play his first time. Fernando Tatis is on deck. Braves trailed by 2, got him back. But now the Cardinals threaten to take the lead again.
Yeah, it hasn't been too artistic between two first-place ball clubs. Already 3 errors in the game.
Down low to Davis. 2 balls, no strikes.
See what Davis does with this 2-0 pitch, trying to get that runner to third.
Ground ball headed for left field. Base hit. Runner had to hesitate. They're on the corners with nobody out.
Well, he didn't bother trying to get it to the right side. He didn't have to. He pulled it in the hole for a hit. Edmonds didn't want to run into an out at third base, so he waited to see if the ball was going to get through, and if Raphael has any chance to knock that ball down, Edmonds would have had to hold at second base.
Infield back, willing to give up a run for a shot at a double play here. Fernando Tatis grounded to second, his first time. He's a great big strong guy. Takes a strike there. 0-1.
Tommy's only come inside a couple of times so far, but that was a good start for an at-bat there by pitching him in.
Inside.
He's hit into 6 double plays this year, and oddly enough, the guy who's hit into more double plays for the Cardinals than anyone else on their team by a large margin is Edgar Renteria. He's hit into 15, and he's their leadoff hitter and stolen base leader.
Last year, Tatis had 31 doubles, 34 homers, 107 RBI. Walked 82 times, struck out 128, and stole 21 bases.
Pretty good year, huh?
You betcha. He came up in the Texas organization. Good cut there. Tatis became a Cardinal. They got him in a trade from Texas, along with a good pitcher, Darren Oliver, and a player to be named later, who turned out to be outfielder Mark Little, in a trade for Royce Clayton and pitcher Todd Stottlemyre back in mid-season '98.
It was in a July trade just before the deadline.
July 31st, right on the nose. The 2-2 fouled it away. Stays alive.
At least that time he was ready to cover the outside part of the plate, not expecting back-to-back fastballs from Glavine.
They list him at 5'10", 180 pounds. Boy, he looks bigger than that. Full count now, 3-2. And La Russa has a decision to make. Do you send the runner at first? Eric Davis can still run.
44 strikeouts for Tatis and 177 at bats. But he may want to avoid a double play if Tatis puts it in play.
Ground ball to first. Fair ball. The throw to the plate. He's safe. He's out at first base. And out at first base again. What a weird looking play. A run scores, but that was mass confusion at first base. Nobody knew what to do, including Galarraga.
He drops it. Davis didn't want to run into the tag, so he runs away from Galarraga. Too late to get the out at home. On the throw to the plate, Galarraga had stepped on the base. That makes it okay for Eric to come back to the bag, but he's a little late getting there as the throw goes 3-2-6-3.
Gee.
A run in and the sacks are cleared.
And he gets an RBI for that. Will Clark fouls it back. His first Cardinals swing in St. Louis. A home run, the result.
Once Galarraga steps on the base here, he drops the ball, picks it up. Once he steps on the base, Davis can come back to the bag if he wants, right there. But instead, he broke for second, and then that's the mistake he made and allowed the Braves to get the double play.
So it's a 3-2 Cardinal lead in the bottom of the third. Outside, 1-2. Do you score that a double play?
It would be a double play, but he gets an RBI because there wasn't a force.
That's right.
Will Clark. Sorry, Skip. I'm just going to say he's hot for the Cardinals, but he was playing well for the Orioles just before they traded him. He was hitting .350 since the All-Star break prior to his acquisition.
This is a great stop for him. This is close to home. Furcal calls for it. Makes the catch, and the inning is over. A run scores on no hits, one error, and nobody left. At the end of 3, your score. 3-2 St. Louis.
Cardinals, as we go to the fourth, time to take a look at the Aflac trivia question. Name the 3 American League Rookies of the Year from 1986 to 1988. Come up with that. That's a pretty good question tonight from Mr. Phil. We'll give you the answer in the bottom half of the fourth inning.
If Phil worked as he ordinarily does, Jim Edmonds and Mark McGwire are going to wind up 2 of them.
I would put a wager on Mr. McGwire. I'm not sure that Mr. Edmonds was in the league yet.
The wind and the pitch. Brian Jordan takes it low, and the fourth inning is underway. 3-2 the score. Line drive, well hit, left field. That ball is bouncing into the seats and then back out. It's a ground rule drop double. Jordan sort of one-handed that ball, but he hit it hard.
That was a bad call by the third base umpire, Tim Timmons. Normally, if it's a ground rule double, the umpire will cross his arms to let you know that it was a ground rule double. He was just throwing his hands up like it was in play, but it was obvious that it bounced up above that yellow line and then came back into the field of play. I thought Jordan was going to keep running.
Galarraga, the batter, tying run at second. Up and in, 1 ball, no strikes. 3-5-2 for St. Louis, 2-2-1 for Atlanta.
And by the way, Tatis does get credit for the RBI on that ground out.
Yeah, and Eric Davis did have a hit in the inning. I told you wrong when we went to break. There's a well-hit ball to deep right field, and it's gone. A 2-run homer by Galarraga to the opposite field and into the Cardinal bullpen. And for the first time tonight, Atlanta has the lead. It's 4-3.
Tell you, balls are jumping that way. And Andres, as we mentioned earlier, in a bit of a home run drought, hits his first one since July 14th when he picked on a ball that looked like it was a little bit off the plate.
He now has 22 homers, 69 RBI. Now they took away the RBI on the other play.
Why? Why would you? charged with grounding into a double play, but it wasn't a force out.
The pitch. There's a strike. 1-2.
But now we're told the reason they didn't give him an RBI is because Jim Edmonds didn't break for home. He didn't go to the plate until after Galarraga booted that ball.
Little tapper toward first. Clark has it. Steps on the bag and retires the guy who a week ago was his teammate. 1 out.
Andy Bennis is struggling, Skip, and I don't mean because he's behind now 4-3, but he really can't get off the mound. He was really fighting it on this little one-hander by Surhoff. Watch Andy try to get over there, but he is really dragging that leg and comes up limping a little bit when he stops. Something for Furcal to pay attention to.
Javi Lopez, the batter. That's low. 1 ball, no strikes. Tomorrow's game at 12:15 Eastern Time. We cannot televise it, nor can we televise Sunday night. There's a strike. But we will be back with you in Cincinnati Monday and Tuesday. Ground ball into left center, a base hit for Javi. Yeah, it's a 1:15 game Eastern time, 12:15 local time, which is Central time. And in Newfoundland, it's a half hour earlier or later than it is in the Eastern time zone. And no, don't ask me why. I don't have any idea. Runner at first, 2 out. Here's Keith Lockhart.
I think it has something to do with the cold water.
Really? Could be. We could use a little of that right here. Try to stay awake.
Everything kind of shortens up in cold water.
Yeah, it sort of shrivels up.
So you go to like a half-hour difference instead of a full hour.
Those Newfoundlanders are smart. Line drive, center field, long run for Edmonds, and the inning is over. Or it would be if that was 3 outs, but it isn't. That's the second out of the inning, and 3 is still the number that you have to get before an inning is declared over.
And Tom Glavine's happy about that.
Yes, he is. Why is he happy?
Well, it gives him a chance to get an at-bat here.
Good point. Is this still the 4th? It is, isn't it? Runner at first, 2 out. Strike to Tom. He sacrificed his first time. Great talking to Hall of Fame announcer Jack Buck before the game.
Always great to see him, isn't it?
Sure is. Looped into left field, and he drops it in there for a hit.
Thing of beauty.
And Furcal is the batter, and he won't be thinking about bunting now, I wouldn't think.
Not the way he raked that fastball his last time up with 2 out. Find a gap and drive them both in. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, going to try to help Bennis regroup here. Braves are really making him work this inning. His pitch count getting up there a little bit for the 4th inning. 62 total. His last start came against the Mets. No decision. Cardinals lost that one 4-3. 6 innings, 3 hits, and he walked 7 in 6 innings in that start. So far tonight, 2 walks.
Look over there, Joe. See behind that building?
Mm-hmm.
That's the arch.
Oh.
The pitch. Started to swing. Stopped. 1 ball, no strikes. Braves have 4 hits in this inning.
Little discussion here about Galarraga's swing and maybe something he did in that last swing on the home run ball to the opposite field that Merv noticed that is different than what Cat's been doing. So he's still got some tape on that sore left thumb.
A ball and a strike. That Rentería, by the way, he's really got a dry sense of humor. And he's very good at what he does.
Yes, he is.
How are the Mets doing? Well, they haven't started yet, have they? Seriously, I can't see this scoreboard here at all.
They have not started. Randy Johnson against Rick Reed tonight at the Bob.
Ground ball, plenty hot, and a run's going to score. How about that? A bad hop. We'll see how they score that. The 3rd run of the inning has touched the plate.
That was just a little bit of lack of concentration on the part of Polanco. They're going to score at a base hit and an RBI, but he should have had this ball. It's almost like he was already looking towards second base. Took his eye off of it a little bit. Went right off the web, and Javi's able to score.
So the Braves make it 5-3.
That's a bad call. That should have been an error.
Yeah, you'd think a major league ball player would make that play.
Absolutely, on a hop like that.
Andrew Jones, the batter.
I want to show you something that he did on this play, though, that happens to fielders a lot. Not just infielders, but it can happen to outfielders, too, where sometimes when they go to field the ball, they get the glove up in front of their face, and they actually screen themselves from the ball, and they can't follow it into the glove. That caused him to not catch the ball in the pocket. It goes off the web and keeps the inning alive.
The 1-0 pitch. Andrew rifles one to left. It's caught, and the inning is over. Perez battled the lights and made the catch. But the Braves put 3 runs on the board, and they do it with 4 hits. 5 hits. We go now to the bottom half of the 4th inning with your score. Braves 5, Cardinals 3.
The end of another beautiful day. 88 was our high today. That's the temperature right now.
Aflac trivia question. It's a good one. The 3 AL rookies of the year from 86 to 88 were in order: Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, and Walt Weiss, all of the Oakland A's. And they are not the only team to have as many as 3 players in a row win the Rookie of the Year award. In the National League, the Dodgers won 5 straight from 92 to 96. Karros, Piazza, Mondesi, Nomo,
and
Todd Hollandsworth, who now is a Colorado Rocky.
Okay, Phil, you beat us fair and square on that one. We should have known Weiss. But we did. Carlos Hernandez is the batter and fouls it back. 5-3 Atlanta, our score. Placido Polanco is next, and then Andy Benes is due. No activity in either bullpen. High pop foul back and out of play. Hernandez singled and scored his first time.
It is neat to come to St. Louis and see all the people dressed in the red shirts, isn't it?
I don't know, but what they love baseball more here than anywhere.
Could be.
You know, Sports Illustrated had an article a few weeks ago in which they made that statement. You'd get an argument in Cincinnati.
Well, there's a lot of towns that are very knowledgeable and good baseball fans, but When I was mentioning earlier that Chipper was talking about what a good surface this has become here in St. Louis to play on. Good pitch. Chipper also talked about what good fans they are to play in front of. You make a good play, they appreciate it, and they applaud you for your efforts.
Tommy records his first strikeout of the night. And here's Polanco. He walked his first time.
If you're the Cardinals, you got to be a little concerned. You're playing against a hot pitcher tonight in Glavine. You've had him on the ropes a couple of times, and you've already scored 3 times against him, and you're behind. That doesn't bode well for the second half of the ball game.
Low to Polanco. 1 ball, no strikes. One out in the bottom of the 4th.
Like Bobby Cox, Tony La Russa has been at this quite a while as a manager in the big leagues, first with the Chicago White Sox, then the Oakland A's. Bobby Cox 15th on the all-time list, but with a better winning percentage.
Tony La Russa is a lawyer. He doesn't practice law, but he's got his degree. But he's done quite well in baseball. 2-2. Little swinging bunt out in front of the plate. It's going to be close. Got it. Polanco didn't think so.
Neither did Dave McKay, the first base coach.
And here comes La Russa.
Greg Gibson is the umpire. Javi had to go a long way to get that ball out in front of the plate. Called Tom off, said he had it. Man, did he throw a bullet to Galarraga. Have a different angle here. This might give us a better look. Like he beat it.
Yeah, I thought so too. But 2 are out, no one on, and Andy Bennis the batter. Glavine goes to work. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Weak ground ball to second. Lockhart to first. And the inning is over. 1-2-3. Nothing doing at the end of 4. 5-3 Braves.
It's not just the Superstation, brought to you by Midas. We're a whole new way to keep a good thing going. Go Midas. And by Claritin. On a beautiful day like today, it's a perfect time to talk to your doctor about Claritin.
Dale Murphy and Ted Turner will be inducted into the Braves Hall of Fame August 14th. Read about these 2 legendary members of the Braves organization in the August Chop Talk. Call 1-800-700-CHOP now to subscribe to Chop Talk, the official monthly magazine of the Atlanta Braves.
Chipper Jones.
Good grief.
It's also an antenna, multi-purpose.
Why would anybody do that? Well, to each his own. And Chipper Jones leads off the 5th.
You know, you can really sing. I mean, you really try.
I sound like Placido Polanco when I'm going good.
With tights on.
The wind by Bennis in the pitch. Curveball inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Don and I will be working here in tremendous heat tomorrow, while others depart. 1-1. What are you laughing at?
Chipper's wristbands.
Oh. You're lying. The 1-1 pitch. Inside. Bennis delivers. Lazy fly into center. Edmonds is there. 1 out. Chipper's 0 for 3, and Brian Jordan the batter. He's 1 for 2. Doubled and scored back in the 4th. Pete Van Weer and Don Sutton will join you after this half inning.
Brian's had a good run going. 1 for 2 tonight. 3 doubles and a homer on this road trip already. 6 for 13. And it's, I think, due to this change in his stance. It's just a little bit of an alteration. That's not that locked front leg, and he doesn't seem to be jumping at the ball and really letting his hands work.
Low and inside. 1-1.
2 homers, Megan. 2 homers and 2 doubles.
This is our last half inning in this booth all year. How about that? Line drive foul. Kansas City and Boston tied up in the 7th inning. Red Sox need to get going.
A lot of division leaders playing each other, though, this weekend, including that Seattle and New York series, Yankees and Mariners.
Line drive left field. Jordan base hit. Brian rounds first, but he'll drop anchor there. Runner at first, 1 out.
Another good swing.
And Galarraga whacked that 2-run homer an inning ago. Stands in.
First baseman,
How short the stride is. Just picked his foot up, dropped it down. Good extension. Hands are working, and he's on a upswing again.
The outfield plays Galarraga straight away. Dennis deals a strike and almost falls off the mound because of that knee brace. Fouled back. He had a good cut.
Look where this pitch is, down and away from him, that he drove into the bullpen out in right center. Not quite as down as Bennis would have liked it. And certainly off the plate.
0-2 the count to him. Runner at first, 1 out.
See that story about Mike Hargrove working out the Baltimore Orioles almost like a spring training workout the other day because they've got so many new faces. They needed to go over fundamentals and signs and how to defend, how they wanted these new players to defend the bunt, all that. Orioles are playing pretty good with their new guys. They're up tonight 9-4 on Tampa Bay.
Check swing grounder off the glove of the first baseman Clark. Pitcher covers, the ball gets away. Runners are going to be at first and third. See if Bennis is all right. He gets up hurting a little bit. That's going to be an E3. Boy, first base has been a dangerous place tonight. All sorts of stuff's happening down there.
Anytime you make a mistake or have a bad hop, whatever, to the first baseman, your inclination is that you got to feed the pitcher. Clark would have been better served to give the ball to Polanco, who had come over to cover, because Bennis is struggling to move quickly enough to get over there. And that's what caused the collision.
And on the play, Jordan very alertly kept on running and wound up at third. So the Braves have an excellent chance to add to their lead with runners on the corners and 1 out.
3 errors tonight already for St. Louis.
Reds just 5 games back. Surhoff lifts one into left field. That's going to make the seats. He'd like to get a fly ball in the air to get a insurance run home. Mike James throwing in the St. Louis bullpen.
Well, they've gathered some pretty good arms down there for that bullpen, including Jason Christensen and Mike Timlin, who came over at the deadline.
I wonder if Mike James is any kin to Jesse James. He was from around here.
Could be.
Surhoff finds himself in an 0-2 hole. Javi Lopez on deck. I think he foul-tipped it and stayed alive. No, he did not. That's a strikeout. And with first base occupied, you don't have to tag the batter. Well, that hurts. Lopez has to pick him up.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Good job by Hernandez to keep it in front of him. Third strikeout for Bennis, but the first since he fanned 2 in the first inning.
Javi has flied to center, singled and scored. Hernandez to the mound for a word with Bennis.
With all he's been through tonight, this could really be a moral victory for him here if he can keep that runner at third from scoring.
Braves have 7 hits. Cardinals have 5. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Surhoff struggling with the bat since he came over.
I wouldn't worry too much about him. 2 for 15 since he came over, but
oh, he'll get that.
Oh yeah. Again, he's really at a disadvantage. He doesn't know a whole lot of these pitchers. Some he is familiar with, but a little bit of a learning curve for him, and he's got to rely a lot on his teammates and some scouting reports.
There's a strike right through there. 2 balls and a strike. Ground ball should end the inning, and it does. So that does it for the Braves. They had a great chance to score, but didn't get it done. 1 hit, no runs, an error, and 2 left. After 4.5, Atlanta leads St. Louis 5-3.
What turns an ordinary beer glass into something special? A light beer that's brewed with the finest 2-row barley and imported hops. One that has a remarkably smooth, satisfying taste that you won't find in an ordinary light beer. In short, what kind of beer makes a glass like this special? One that really fits the glass. Beer, or Michelob Light.
Who's your friend, Mark?
He's a venture capitalist.
Oh, you still trying to trademark the .and .com?
Okay, if I can get just a little investment from you, this is a go. I'll take that as a yes. Mom, I gotta send an email here. I need an upgrade.
You need a data port.
Yes.
What's this look like, sweetie? A Holiday Inn?
Data ports, meeting rooms, business services. Holiday Inn gives you more, and more is better.
They call it the duel in the dust. And for those who compete in the Score Desert Series, it means more pounding, more rattling, and more punishment than you can shake a stick at. That's why so many off-road racers rely on the Duralast battery from AutoZone. A battery so tough, so dependable, it comes with a 2-year free replacement guarantee. The Duralast battery from AutoZone. Don't settle for anything less.
Pete Van Weer and Don Sutton joining you now as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Well, it's kind of been a bizarre game. A lot of odd plays in the game, but the Braves taking advantage of the most of them and leading at 5-3.
And the Cardinals normally a good defensive ball club, but they haven't been tonight. An unusual double play, a lot of plays that should have been made. And this is a game where I think we're going to get a chance to see that compliment that Buck Showalter gave to Tom Glavine the other night maybe come to being. Buck Showalter said, and he pointed to Glavine, I can't think of a pitcher in the National League I'd rather have out there in what is going to be a 5-4 or 6-5 ball game than Tom Glavine, and it looks like we're headed that way.
Well, you know this as well as anyone, certainly. If you're going to win the number of games that a guy like Tom Glavine has won in his career, and he's won 200 of them, you're not going to win them all 3-1 or 4-1. You're going to win some 6-5. You're going to win some 9-7. My pitching coach, one of my favorite people, Red Adams, used to say there are going to be nights when you have to bum your way through to a win. Glavine has also had a knack in games like this, which started a little shakily for him, of settling down. But a leadoff single by Edgar Rentería, and he's going to be pitching with a runner on base again here in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Well, Bennis has only had one inning in which he didn't have to pitch out of the stretch, and Glavine has only had one inning in which he hasn't worked from the stretch. So both pitchers have really had to labor tonight.
Eduardo Perez singled in the first, fouled out to third in the second.
A great, his father was inducted in the Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago. It is a great Tony La Russa story. Saturday here in St. Louis, they were at a ball game, and they were talking about Tony Perez going into the Hall of Fame, and Tony La Russa said to him, I don't know what you're going to do tomorrow, but you're not going to play. You're not getting into the game, because Perez was reluctant to leave the team to go. And you can admire his willingness to be a team player, but that was such a special moment for his family. La Russa said, you do what you want to do, but you're not going to get into the game tomorrow. He was there early Sunday morning, and a part of a wonderful day for the Perez family.
1 for 2 today, 3 for 4 in his career with a couple of homers against Glavine. The count 1 ball, 1 strike now, and Eduardo Perez. 5 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for the Braves. 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for the Cardinals. And there's another play that could have been scored an error. Two and one. Jim Edmonds waiting in the on-deck circle. Hit in fair territory. He's out. There's another weird play. We've seen a bunch of them tonight. You haven't seen that play in maybe 2 or 3 years in a Braves game. The ball hit out in front in fair territory, takes a little backspin, comes right back and hits the runner, and he's out. Catcher unassisted if you're scoring.
Yeah, he steps right into it, tried to get out of the way of it. The runner has to come back to first. It's a dead ball, and he's out.
When's the last time you saw that play?
I haven't.
We have seen some really weird stuff in this one. Rentería at first with 1 out now for Jim Edmonds. He reached on an error by Andres Galarraga. That in itself, kind of weird. He has also walked, and when he scored a run in the 3rd inning, he has now scored 103 runs in 103 games. Leads the major leagues in runs scored. Takes a strike outside corner.
I'll tell you why this Cardinal play is so strange, Pete. They came into this ballgame the 2nd best fielding club. Percentage-wise, only trailing Colorado, only 65 errors starting the night in 107 ball games. But tonight, playing like it's kind of first or second day of spring training.
Up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike on Edmonds. One man out, Rentería at first. Two and 1 the count now on Jim Edmonds.
One of the things that makes Edmonds so valuable in the middle of this lineup, too, with or without Mark McGwire, is that he's not one of those guys you can
do the lefty-righty thing and intimidate him. He's hitting about 325 against lefty, so he really doesn't care. He's just a good hitter. Good all-around player, an excellent defensive center fielder. In fact, you may have the two best in the business defensively in center field in this game tonight, in Edmonds and Jones. Almost every night when you watch the baseball highlights from around the major leagues, one or both are featured.
Two different personalities, two different body types and styles, but two that just glide under the ball. They make playing center field look a lot easier than it is.
Here's the 2-2. And they missed inside. Full count now in Edmonds. They both play center field a little bit alike. They like to play shallow because they're both very good at going back in a ball.
And some of the best Edmonds pictures of the pieces of highlight film with Edmonds are of him with his back to home plate.
3-2 now. The runner at first, Rentería. Let's see if he's on the move. Glavine thinks he's going to be, so he throws over.
About the only guy in this lineup that is a threat to run a lot. Edmonds does have 9 steals, but it's Rentería, the guy they count on to ignite it.
Three-2 now. Just missed outside. So they're at first and second. That's the second walk given up by Glavine. It's been Edmonds both times. And the batter will be Eric Davis, who has hit into a 3-6 force play, and he's singled.
What do you think he's thinking about? This inning, or if I make this move, what's it going to look like in the 7th, 8th? Managers have to manage sometimes days ahead, don't they?
Yeah, they do. The way they use their bullpen, especially. 1 ball, no strikes. Back in 1982, when the Braves wound up meeting the Cardinals for the National League Championship during their regular season series, and at that time they played each other 12 times. Every game was like this. Weird things. One team would take the lead, the other team would grab it back, it would bounce back and forth. And you could almost feel it during the course of the entire season that they were going to eventually meet for the National League Championship, which they did, and the Cardinals swept that series.
Then the weather made that a weird week.
Yeah, it did.
Well, I was kind of hoping the Braves would come out on top, because I was in Milwaukee, and I would have loved to have seen a Milwaukee-Atlanta World
I'm sure you would have. The record you had against the Braves. 1-1 to count on Eric Davis, and the pitch low and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Glavine is having one of those nights where his control is not as sharp as we've seen, but he still doesn't give in, and that's what a part of what Buck Showalter was talking about, that he's not a guy who is, when it's not all finely tuned and working well, that is just going to reach back and challenge you. He is going to stick with what got him this far and hope it does come around. Close.
Cardinals lead the major leagues in home runs. They have power up and down their lineup, even without Mark McGwire in there. So you've really got to be careful in these situations. Here's the 2-1. Little tap to third. Chipper has to wait for the second hop. He'll get 1 out. That's all. That was close. Moving over to third is Rentería. First and third now with 2 down for Fernando Tatis, who has grounded out to second and hit into one of the stranger double plays you will ever see. Galarraga to Lopez to Furcal to Galarraga. A 3-2-6-3 double play. They didn't get the out at home. But watch Galarraga step on the bag first of all to get the first out. There's out number 1. Gets the bag. Now he comes home late there, but now they get the other runner caught up. Very strange play.
And he actually stepped on the bag in the process of throwing.
Here's Tatis. 1 ball, no strikes.
He has turned what was a questionable trade at the time into one that has really been good for the Cardinals. Between the Cardinals and the Texas Rangers.
1-1 now on the Cardinal third baseman.
And there have been some pretty good third basemen come through here too, so that's something nice to have in your trophy case, including Kenny Boyer and Mike Shannon.
Ken Boyer's number among those retired by the Cardinals. It's one of my favorite stories. It was when this was down in spring training in West Palm Beach, where all the scouts were sitting around talking about defensive third baseman. And the argument was about whether Brooks Robinson was the best defensive third baseman these guys had ever seen. And one of the scouts disagreed, and he said, no, I think Ken Boyer was the best defensive third baseman I've ever seen. And one of the other scouts said Ken Boyer wasn't even the best defensive third baseman in his family.
Cleat could pick it.
But he was pretty good.
Another guy that at the end of his career made a stop in Dodger Stadium, and I had a chance to play with him for a while.
3-1 now on Fernando Tatis.
And here's that very situation that Buck Showalter was talking about. 3-1. He is, if he gets a pitch to handle, it'll be a mistake. He is not going to give in to it. Going to pitch it as though it were 2-1.
And just missed outside. So they're loaded now for Will Clark, who lived up to his Will the Thrill nickname his first time up. First, he got a standing ovation welcoming him to St. Louis, and on the very next pitch, he homered.
Well, the crowd's going to try it again. Here's the homer. Out away from him to left center field. The crowd's thinking, oh, that worked so well with the standing O the first time. We're going to try it again. They're on their feet, and Leo Mazzoni's on his way to the mound.
A home run and a pop out to short for Will Clark. That was one of those moments back in the second inning that it almost looked like something out of a movie script. First of all, the crowd, I think, kind of surprised Will Clark with how enthusiastic their welcome was for him. I mean, he knew he's an important addition to this club with the injury to Mark McGwire, but to come back to St. Louis after playing a couple games on the road and get a welcome like that's a thrill enough. And then on the very first pitch you see in front of a sellout crowd that just gave you a standing ovation, a homer.
Well, it had to be scripted because that's his first homer against a left-hander this year.
Bases loaded, 2 men out. Braves up 5-3 in the bottom of the 5th. Ball 1.
But he's one of those guys that may not be successful every time in these kind of situations, but he loves it.
Well, you don't get a nickname like Will the Thrill unless you've lived up to it a few times.
And you can take that all the way back to his college days.
Remember the playoff series between the Giants and the Cubs when Will Clark and Mark Grace, both a couple of young first basemen in the league, both hitting over 500 in that series. And it was just each one trying to outdo the other seemingly inning after inning. And succeeding. Giants went on to win that, go on to the World Series. Bouncer down the first base line. It's a fair ball. Glavine covers. He's out of the inning. Will Clark didn't think the ball was fair. He's going to argue with Greg Gibson, but he's going to lose the argument. And Glavine strands 3 Cardinal runners.
Your television and the internet converge to create a simultaneous, synchronized experience.
I watched Wednesday.
Watch Ripley's Believe It or Not, WCW Thunder, every Wednesday night. Click, log on to TBSSuperstation.com. Compete to win gigantic prizes.
I watched Wednesday.
Wednesday, 8:05 Eastern, TBS Superstation.
Now with VoiceStream, you can talk to the entire country
The country. It's a big place. A lot of people.
without ever leaving your own backyard.
I like the sound of that.
Because VoiceStream gives you free weekends nationwide,
Hello, Tampa, Washington, Baltimore.
plus 600 anytime minutes, all for $39.99 a month.
Simple as that.
VoiceStream gives you more, guaranteed.
So, get VoiceStream.
And get more from life.
For smart products and smarter advice, there's a better way to go. Through August 13th, for just $39.99 a month, get 600 anytime minutes, plus 1,000 nationwide weekend minutes from Voice Stream Wireless. Plus, get up to $50 cash back.
Five complete. The Braves lead at 5-3 as we head to the sixth. Let's head to our Budweiser game summary. Glavine and Bennis, both veteran pitchers who have had to grind it. Furcal with a couple of RBIs. Galarraga with a couple of RBIs. Odd plays. St. Louis with 3 errors. And Will Clark with a Robert Redford moment. It's 5-3, and that's your Budweiser game summary.
Keith Lockhart leading off in the 6th inning. Then we'll see if Glavine hits for himself or if they pinch hit for him here. There is no activity any longer in the Braves bullpen, and Tommy is coming out on deck, so it looks like he will stay in there. And Lockhart will start things here. He has walked and flied to center. Along the line in left, long run for Perez. Does he have room? Sliding try, and made the catch. What a play by Perez. It looked like he was going to run out of room there, but somehow he was able to stay focused and catch this thing.
Not a whole lot of room to play with there. Goes to the slide and still slams into the wall. He doesn't even look at the wall. He's just got to allow his peripheral vision to see where it is.
Well, that's a super play.
Wasn't he originally a first baseman?
Yes, he was. Here's Tom Glavine now. Sacrifice button, a single. 1 ball, no strikes. So we've seen bad defense and we've seen great defense. One and one. Rentería.
He can play some short.
Very smooth over there. Back to the top of the order now, Rafael Furcal. He'll give Glavine some time to get back to the Braves dugout. And Furcal's had a good night. A walk, a pair of singles. He has scored a run. He has driven in 2.
He's a quick learner, isn't he? It doesn't take him very long to know all the veteran moves of a leadoff hitter. Takes a few extra seconds to allow Glavine in, and waited till Tom got even with him before he headed to the home plate area. That's a little thing, but it's something that's appreciated by the pitcher, and it's not overlooked by your teammates either.
2 outs, bases empty. 1 ball, no strikes. 48,901, a sellout here, the first of 3 that we're going to have this weekend.
And they were all out on the street milling around at 4 o'clock.
Tell you what, when you have a night game here, it starts at about noon. Folks beginning to mill around the ballpark. The souvenir vendors are all setting up.
And near the park, there are a couple of blocks blocked off for a little, some sort of fest taking place.
It's an Oktoberfest in August. I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is, but it is a big German festival here in town this weekend.
Little oompa music.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Rafael Furcal with 2 outs. Three and 2. That means brats and sauerkraut and all that stuff, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
How close to the
On
hotel?
the way home, it's halfway. It's right between them.
Ball 4 to Furcal. He's on for the 4th straight time. 3rd walk given up by Bennis.
Center fielder, Andrew Jones.
Actually, there's a whole lot going on. It's kind of interesting over at our hotel, the shopping mall down below there. You need the Cardinal paraphernalia, I can tell you where to get it.
That's all there is in that mall. Cardinal stores and fudge. They got that big fudge stand there that people gather around because the preparers of the fudge sing and dance. Cardinal bullpen active again. Mike James up for the second time. But every other store in that mall up by Union Station selling all sorts of Cardinal merchandise. Runner going, the throw down. It's going to get through into center field. Furcal's going to take off now for third. Edmonds firing toward third. Furcal slides in safely. Boy, that speed again. 24th stolen base. He didn't pick up the ball right away. But Edmonds almost had it in his hand before he took off for third.
He accelerates so quickly when he does find it. I don't think Edmonds thought he was going to go. He threw on the run. There he is. He's going full tilt. Had this stolen. When it bounced away, where's the ball? Got it now. Look how quickly he's going full speed. Maury Wills used to have the ability to be flat out in about the second or third step, and not a lot of guys can do that.
And as you saw by that graphic, 24 steals, the most ever by a 19-year-old in a major league season. Ty Cobb had 23 as a 19-year-old in 1906. Furcal won't be 20 until later this month. Ty Cobb already erased from the record book by Rafael Furcal in his rookie season. 3-0 the count on Andrew Jones as the plate's starting to jump around a little bit now on Bennis.
Most errors the Cardinals had committed in a ball game coming into tonight was 3 against Arizona. That came a week ago.
4 miscues tonight. There's ball 4 to Andrew. And now Chipper. That's the 4th walk given up by Bennis. Chipper tonight has struck out, fly to left, fly to center.
Third baseman, Chipper Jones.
The number of pitches as well as the circumstances in the ballgame and the fact that he's had to pitch from the stretch in a lot of jams not of his doing may be starting to take its toll on Andy Bennis.
A lot of pitches rolling in the 6th.
See, I think Chipper's a guy in the lineup that would have worried me. I would have gone a little more aggressively at Andrew, and the reason is Chipper's 0 for 3, and he's a guy that doesn't get many 0 for 4s.
And he is also homerless since the 18th of July.
So you got a lot of odds,
a lot of streaks that are going to be ending in the near future. He doesn't very often go that long without a home run. Now right-hander Matt Morris joining Mike James in the Cardinal bullpen. There's that play. Didn't work.
Again.
A night like this, you think it would.
Yeah.
We've seen so much weird stuff here in this one. Here's the 0-1 runner at first going. They're not even going to throw down. That'll be a steal for Andrew.
Now Andrew may have done just what they want him to do. They may take the bat out of Chipper Jones's. Now it's 0-2. They're going to throw him. But the first pitch was a ball. I guarantee you, if he gets anything in the strike zone, it's a mistake by Bennis.
12th stolen base for Andrew Jones. Trying to get him to chase one down and away. He wouldn't. 1-2.
Sometimes that's not a good play with a switch hitter at the plate with a right-handed hitter on deck, because a lot of teams will go ahead and take the bat out of the left-handed hitter.
Little tap towards second. Polanco on to Clark, and Bennis out of the inning. Stranding runners at second and third. We head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Still 5-3 Atlanta.
For your chance to win up to $1 million, sit in the owner's box and receive a Phillips DVD player. Just correctly answer a question about every Braves game on TBS through September 9th to increase your chances of winning a grand prize.
It is a 5-3 lead for Atlanta as we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning in the lower third of the order. Hernandez, Polanco, and probably a pinch hitter for Bennis as the bullpen stays active for St. Louis. Carlos Hernandez, a single and a strikeout. Ball one, high and away.
You know, the Cardinals needed another catcher to work with them, but here's a guy I'm surprised the Florida Marlins didn't make a run at. Because of the young pitching and because he has such a good reputation with pitchers.
One on the way. Good thing he's not the sensitive type. He came up in the second inning, too. Right after Will Clark. They didn't give him a standing ovation.
And he only got a single.
Was his first.
Maybe he was sensitive.
His first at bat as a Cardinal in front of the home folks, too. 3-1 now on Carlos Hernandez. Down the right field line. That ball's well hit, fair or foul. It is a foul ball.
And Pete, speaking of that young Florida pitching, I think one of them, Ryan Dempster, has just beaten Cincinnati 2-1.
And that helps out the Cardinals. Cardinals 5 games up on Cincinnati coming in. And that is the first final on the out-of-town scoreboard in the National League. St. Louis, as you know, the Braves go to Cincinnati after this series. There's that final. And it'll be the first time the Braves have seen Cincinnati all year. St. Louis in the same situation with the Marlins. They have not seen the Marlins all season long. They'll get them next. And they're very curious about that team. Well, nobody expected the Marlins to be around the 500 level as they are at this late stage of the season. In the air, deep left field. Surhoff goes back. It's going to be off the wall. He'll play it on the hop, fire back to second base. Played that perfectly. Held Hernandez to a single.
Yes, he did play it perfectly, but with B.J. Surhoff, you get a complete package. He's a good hitter. He's a gamer, but he also knows how to play some outfield. And maybe Hernandez might have thought he got it all. Sees where it's going, got no chance to catch it, positioned himself perfectly, and didn't hesitate. He assumed that he was going to have a play at second. He'd have been out from here to you.
And now Polanco. Craig Paquette has moved on deck. He'll bat for Andy Benes. Polanco a single and was thrown out catcher to first. A bang-bang play back in the fourth. There's Paquette on deck. But I had a couple Cardinal people ask me before the game today, what's the deal with this Florida club? You guys have played them a few times. And I said, they're not bad. They've got some outstanding young arms, good bullpen, a couple of guys in their batting order having good seasons. Cardinals will be seeing them starting Monday. There's a strike in the inside corner. It's 0-2. There's the Braves bullpen active again. Scott Kamenicki, the right-hander. Terry Mulholland, the left-hander. Out towards second slowly. Lockhart flips to short, and that's all. And we're seeing over and over and over again in recent games the maturity and the rapidly growing maturity of Rafael Furcal, not forcing throws he doesn't have a chance to make a play on. Early in the year, he tries to make the double play on this.
Yes, he does, but here he makes sure he gets the bag and gets out of the way and lives to play again.
And that was the cause of a lot of Furcal's early season errors. He would still go ahead and throw to first and fire wildly. And you've taken away the whole purpose. The runner would wind up at second base. Yes, you would get the one out at second, but then you'd have a runner down there. Now Paquette up to pinch hit. 246, 9 homers, 44 RBIs. Takes a strike.
Got a good streak going, does Furcal. Only one error in his last 20 ball games. He talked about how good.
He's one of the quickest learners I've ever seen.
Well, he only has to see it once to realize how it's supposed. And someday they're going to say about him, he's a baseball player. He's headed in that direction. 1-1. Foul back. We've talked about the Cardinals and what a good ball club they are. This is one of the areas where they haven't really excelled this year. Pinch hitting, they're only about 200 with guys coming off the bench. 1 out of 6 for Paquette.
Mark McGuire on the disabled list now with a ailing right knee. He missed a couple of games earlier in the season. And when he went down, one of the guys that filled in for him was Craig Paquette. And hit a couple home runs. They didn't miss a trick with Paquette in there in place of Mark McGuire. That's the figure that really was disturbing the Cardinals when they went out and made the deal. Wasn't quite 9-14, but it was similar to that when they made the deal to get Will Clark over on their club. The 1-2 to Paquette. Just off the inside corner, 2-2.
Well, that's a lot of offense to not have in the heart of your ball club. And not only does it affect that one spot in the batting order, but it affects front and back, too. The guys ahead of it and the guys right behind it.
Got him to chase a bad pitch. Brian Jordan there for the catch. 2 gone. And back we go to the top of the order, Edgar Rentería. Rentería tonight is grounded to short, a sac fly to center, and a single. Hero of the 1997 World Series for the Florida Marlins.
It's a year I think he became a good off-speed hitter, too. Maybe even better off-speed hitter than he is a fastball hitter.
His manager that year, Jim Leland, now works for the Cardinals as a major league scout.
Speaking of Jim Leland being a scout, they have a pretty high-profile front office. There's some pretty good baseball people up there and some good names.
A lot of experience. Walt Jocketty, the general manager, has Jerry Walker as his vice president of player personnel. He's a former GM with the Tigers. Bob Gebhardt is his special assistant. He's a former GM with the Colorado Rockies. Bing Devine is a special assignment scout. He was the GM right here in St. Louis. Jim Leland is his major league scout. He was, of course, the manager for so many years with the Pirates, and then the Marlins, and then the Rockies. Won the World Series with the Marlins in '97. Right center field and in for extra bases. Polanco will get the green light around third. He will score with no throw. It's a 1-run lead, 5-4. Rentería drives in his 47th run of the year. His 21st double of the year.
And you might be reaching a point in the ball game where there's that 5-4 lead, and Glavine will try to get out of this. Got to pitch out away from him. Looked like a changeup that he went out and got. But that's what we're saying about him. He has become a good off-speed hitter. But here's that situation that Buck Showalter was talking about with Glavine. 5-4 and a guy out at second who can tie it. This is a big out he needs to get.
Perez 1 for 3. Ran into a little dribbler out in front of the plate his last time up. Was called out. Fouls the first one away. Even their minor league system, Don, headed up by Mike Jorgensen, a guy who played for a little bit with the Braves, who was a manager for the Cardinals here. You know what they do, this team, this Cardinal team? Sometimes they'll take a guy out of a high-profile position, but they won't let him go from the organization. Right. He'll stay in the organization in some other capacity. That happened with Jorgensen. He was the manager that succeeded Joe Torre. And when that didn't work out to their satisfaction, they didn't fire him. They just relieved him of being the major league manager and put him back in charge of the minor league system.
Well, they recognize baseball people, and it may take them a couple of moves to get them in a niche where they are best suited.
That is somewhat different, though, than some organizations who give you one shot at one spot. Here's the 1-1 to Perez. Right back to Glavine. He's going to be out of the inning and preserves the 5-4 lead. Well, they've gotten through 6. The Braves up by 1.
one thing's for sure. On the Superstation, brought to you by Coca-Cola, who reminds you to strike out your thirst with the refreshing Coca-Cola Classic. Coca-Cola, enjoy. And by AccuView Contact Lenses, advancing the science of sight.
Couple of changes for the Cardinals as we go to the top half of the 7th inning. Craig Paquette stays in the game in left field. Perez comes out. And the new pitcher batting in the 2-hole in the lineup will be right-hander Matt Morris. Interesting comeback for him. He has pitched in 15 games, all in relief, since rejoining the team after a long stint on the disabled list. He's 0-2 with a very good earned run average, 2.59. He also has 2 saves. And he's one of those rare breeds that is averaging better than 2 innings of relief appearance, 31 1/3 innings in the 15 appearances he has made. Didn't pitch at all last year after undergoing Tommy John surgery on his right elbow. First pitch to Brian Jordan, hammered left center field. Paquette there and made the knee-high catch. Good play by Craig Paquette. Just checked into the game defensively.
Well, good thing he got to loosen up some, because he has tested right away a sinking line drive in the left center field. And a nice play by Paquette.
Morris still only 25 years old. He was a very promising starting pitcher a couple of years ago. A 12-game winner for the Cardinals with a good ERA of 3.19. And then in '98 was off to a 7-5 start with an even better ERA of 2.53. And then the elbow went. Tried to make a couple of minor league rehab starts, didn't work, so he went ahead and had the surgery. And now he's back pitching in relief.
He had a good live fastball, and I remember him with a good curveball, too, a downer curveball.
And now B.J. Surhoff with a runner at first, one off. B.J. is celebrating his 36th birthday today. Hasn't celebrated it too happily. He's 0 for 3. Grounded out to second, grounded out to first, and struck out. 36 years old today. Takes a strike. 2 for 15 now. He doesn't have many streaks like that since coming over to the Braves.
Well, it's a period of adjustment, getting used to some pitchers that he hasn't seen.
Pitchers he hasn't seen, ballparks he hasn't seen, everything is new. A play that might have been made again by the Cardinals. Rentería and Tatis both had room. Looked like Rentería was going to make the play.
May have overrun it. He's after it. That ball, when it comes down, is going to drift back, and he also may have been watched the ball person down there a little late getting out of the way. That could have been a distraction too. So he had made a new friend, but he had a lot going on down there.
Nothing at 2, the count on Surhoff. No error charged. And Surhoff's going to be upset with himself with that swing. He'll check the plate umpire Steve Ripley first of all to see if it was a strike.
No, he
wants to know if it was called or swinging, and Ripley said nope, he swung at it.
Sneaky fast is Morris, and he put that one in a good spot.
So a tough night for B.J. at the plate so far. He's 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Then he'll bring up Javi Lopez. Javi 1 for 3 with a single. What the return of Matt Morris does for this Cardinal team, and add Alan Bennis's name to that list as well, Andy's brother, who's back off the disabled list, pitching out of the bullpen. It gives the Cardinals some real depth in their starting rotation. I think that they project Matt Morris as someday returning to the rotation, possibly Alan Bennis too. Deep center field, long run for Edmonds, but he gets there easily. And that's the third out. In the top half of the 7th inning, it's a 5-4 Atlanta lead as we go to the 7th inning stretch here in St. Louis.
Nicholson and Helen Hunt as they star in the world broadcast premiere of As Good as It Gets, 8 o'clock Eastern on the Superstation. If you like movies, As Good as It Gets is As Good as It Gets. A couple of very talented folks in that one.
Jim Edmonds, Eric Davis, Fernando Tatis due up here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. They'll be facing left-hander Mike Remlinger, who takes over for Tom Glavine. Glavine 6 innings tonight, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. He walked 3, struck out 1. And Remlinger makes appearance number 48.
This is one of those ball games too. I guarantee you Tom Glavine is going to be stiff and sore tomorrow, more so than after the Sunday ball game, because it's been one of those nights where the whole game could hinge on every pitch, and that beats you up if you're a pitcher. You want to stay longer in the whirlpool and a little bit longer in the ice, and it's going to take just a little more to recover from this.
Well, Remlinger will try to preserve this 1-run lead. Big cheer you may have heard in the background. They were flashing some scores up on the scoreboard out in left center field, and they put that Florida 2-1 final over Cincinnati in case folks hadn't noticed it on the out-of-town scoreboard. Fans in St. Louis very aware of what's going on with their team all the time, good or bad. They know exactly how far ahead the Cardinals are and who they're trying to hold off. Edmonds tonight 2 walks, and he's also reached on an error. First pitch swinging, fly ball along the left field line. This is going to drop out of play. Had a chance to meet Jim Edmonds at the All-Star game this year. Really a great personable guy. Very outgoing, very eager to make his mark in this game. 0-2 the count.
And a trade that out in Orange County, California drew some mixed reviews, but it wasn't one of those ho-hum. It was very strong one way or the other.
Here comes the 0-2. He wants it up, and he got it right where he wanted it. Strike 3 called.
Remlinger has gone to pretty much just a 2-pitch pitcher, and when he's comfortable, he locates the fastball well and he locates the changeup well. 1, 2, 3, and a U-turn for Edmonds.
You saw that sign on the 0-2 pitch that Javi Lopez gave. He wanted the fastball, and then he said, get it up above the belt. That's exactly what Remlinger did. He nailed strike 3 there on Edmonds. Now Eric Davis. Davis 1 for 3, a single in the 3rd.
Back to that Edmonds trade. I was in California this winter when that deal was made, and most of the response out there was that they didn't get enough for him.
Well, you look at the numbers he's put up for the Cardinals, and you can understand that sentiment.
It's turned out to be, would you trade Jim Edmonds for Kennedy and Ron Gant? Because that's what it's turned out to be.
That's what it wound up being, yeah, with Gant coming over now for Kent Bottenfield. 1-2 on Eric Davis. Furcal. Low and throws it by Galarraga. Heading for second is Eric Davis. Raphael had a little more time there than he thought he did. He kind of rushed that throw a bit, and he'll be charged with an error. That's the second error of the game to an Atlanta Brave.
And only his second error in 21 ball games, and you're right, he did have time to plant and throw. Davis wasn't even in the picture. He did surround it nicely and get his momentum going toward first, but he had time to stop.
Time to take one more step and throw off the right foot.
Yep.
The right foot. By that I mean the correct foot. He threw off the right foot. He should have
taken the wrong right foot.
The wrong right foot. He should have thrown off the left foot, and he had time to do that.
Which would have been the right left foot.
Fernando Tatis 0 for 2 with a walk. Runner at second, 1 out, a 1-run lead. This game up for grabs. And mistakes by both sides, a big part of it. 2 errors for Atlanta, 4 errors for the Cardinals. Braves have walked 3. Cardinals have walked 4. One ball, no strikes.
He's a guy that can scare you too, especially in a game where it's going to be decided by one player or one swing of the bat. He is a good mistake hitter, and he is very strong.
His strength surprises you a little bit because you stand alongside him. He's not that big a guy. Let's see what they list him as here. 5'10", 180. There are a lot of guys 5'10", 180 that are Punch and Judy type hitters.
I bet his body fat, though, is about 5% if it's that much. He's a rock.
Outside corner, 1-1.
Good spot for the changeup. He didn't want to give in to him.
Remlinger will tell you that he's a very different pitcher now than he was when he first came over here, and he gives a lot of the credit for that to just observing, just watching Greg Maddux, just watching Tom Glavine, watching the guys that have had all the success over here and the way they approach things, both on their side sessions and during the game.
Yeah, he's one guy that goes down when the other guys throw. When the starting pitcher's warming up, he'll go down. There'll be two people standing in the back observing, Leo Mazzoni and Mike Remlinger. But the theory, the philosophy, stay out of big innings, trust the defense, and pitch away from the long ball. If they're going to beat you, make them do it out away from them.
Like that. 2-2.
And if you come inside after you're set it up really well and come inside for effect. But one of the things that I think that every pitcher just kind of shakes their head, and it takes them a while to be convinced when they come onto this ball club, is how much you can trust the defense if you make your pitches. Hit the outside corner, give up a rocket, and watch it go right in somebody's glove.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Tatis. 1 man out.
Ashby's a believer. Yes. See, there's that inside pitch for effect. He had set it up perfectly.
I don't think he was trying to throw that for a strike, but he got it because Tatis couldn't stop.
Yeah, he hadn't seen anything inside. He commits for a pitch outside and then just tries to bail out of the way of it, and in the process gets plate coverage.
Well, that'll bring up Will Clark again. A home run in the second, a pop out to short in the third, a ground out to first in the fifth. 1 for 3 tonight, and 5 for 8 now as a Cardinal after a 3:01 mark with Baltimore. One ball, no strikes. Will Clark with the Cardinals, B.J. Surhoff with the Braves, Charles Johnson with the White Sox, Mike Bordick with the Mets, Mike Timlin over here with the Cardinals, all wearing Baltimore uniforms a week ago and all in pennant races now. Harold Baines, another one that went up to the White Sox.
Kind of like they're busting up Microsoft, isn't it? Everybody getting a little division of it.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Everybody that I've talked to, all the scouts though, are in agreement that what Baltimore did is pair payroll, because nobody really excited about the collection of people they got in return.
Here's the 1-1 now. Inside corner, 1-2.
Outside, outside, outside. When you come inside, make it for effect. Don't live in there, but he hits a corner with it.
Two. Braves have been making big pitches in situations like this all night long. Glavine for the first 6 innings. Now we'll see if Remlinger can do it again. He struck out Tatis with that runner at second. Now it's 2-2 on Clark. Did he go? No. Full count, 3-2.
You could umpire here. And it's a good call, the right call by Tim Timmons down at third.
Here's the payoff to Clark, just off the inside corner.
That's a very disciplined hitter, especially after getting that strike called on the only other pitch you'd seen inside. And if Rimlinger hits the spot here, he just misses. 3 inches to the right, he gets the strike called again.
First and second now with 2 outs. Carlos Hernandez up. 7 men already stranded over the first 6 innings by the Cardinals. 2 more out there now. Hernandez 2 out of 3 with a pair of singles. He has also struck out.
Well, he's had some good swings against Mike Rimlinger. He's only seen him 5 times, but he's gotten 2 hits in the 5 times, and he's had some good at-bats against him.
Takes a strike, 0-1. The runners lead from first and second. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Just in case I have to make a throw. Just in case.
One. Missed. 2-1. Ball 3. Polanco on deck.
As sharp as he was to the first 3 hitters, he is just missing to the next 2.
Keep seeing the shots of the 2 managers in this game. Bobby Cox 15th on the all-time managerial win list. Tony La Russa 11th on the all-time list. There's a strike, and it's full 3-2, and the runners will be set in motion here. There they go, and the 3-2 on the way, and he walked it, and that's going to load the bases for Polanco. An error and a pair of walks to load the bases. 5 walks issued now by Braves pitching in the game. 2 errors committed by the Braves. 8 hits allowed. Leo Mazzoni on his way out.
He's already been throwing, so it won't take Kamenecki long to get warm if he can find his glove. He did. And that's part of what this conversation is about. This is just a little bit of a pep rally and to buy just a little bit of time.
Polanco, the hitter, is 1 for 3.
But he's a guy, Pete, in situations like this can scare you. He's a hacker. He's only walked 7 times and about 210 at-bats. He's only struck out 19 times.
So he puts the ball in play.
He puts it in play, so not real good numbers with the bases loaded, but you can make what you think's a good pitch, and he's going to find a way to get the bat on it. These are the guys that are scary.
Polanco with the bases full, 2 outs. Braves up by 1 in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Cardinals left the bases loaded back in the 5th inning, failing to score. There's a strike, 0-1. Hernandez off first, Clark off second, Davis off third. And the 0-1 to Polanco, missed outside.
Back-to-back cities, teams, and ballparks where it seems like the Braves play them in unusual, different ways. There are a lot of shutouts when the Braves and the Diamondbacks get together, but it seems like they're always 5-4, 6-5, and a lot of these nail biters when they play the Cardinals here.
Now the 1-1. Right to the third baseman, Chipper Jones. Remlinger out of the inning. The Cardinals leave him loaded again. Wow. Still 5-4 Atlanta.
Top of the 8th, there's our score. Time for us to take a look at the Delta scoreboard. We told you about the Cincinnati-Florida game. Florida behind Ryan Dempster winning his 10th, beat them 2-1. Montreal and Houston in a game kind of like what we've got going here. Colorado has just scored 3 in the 5th. They lead the Phillies. San Diego an early 2-0 lead over the Cubs. Mets against Arizona, and it looks like the Mets on our score here have taken a 1-0 lead, and on yours there too. Milwaukee at LA just underway. Pittsburgh at San Francisco. Over in the American League, Kansas City nipped by Boston. Brian Daubach's home run is 16th the difference. Angels got a 4-run second inning. They've added a few more, and right now they're tied with Cleveland. Minnesota 3-1 over Detroit. Eric Milton won his 11th. Seattle and the Yankees trading runs at will. 11 runs scored by Texas and Toronto in the last 2 innings. Tampa Bay and Baltimore in a slugfest. And Oakland against Chicago, that's a 1-run ball game. Giambi a home run for Oakland. Log on to CNNSI.com. You can keep up with all these games.
Keith Lockhart takes a strike leading off the 8th. Lockhart a walk, a fly out to center, and a foul ball along the line in left field that Eduardo Perez made a great catch on back in the 6th. This one out of play off to the left, 0-2. Sellout crowd here tonight. They're sold out for tomorrow afternoon. They're sold out for Sunday night. And that is not unusual in this town. It's going to be a busy place here tomorrow. The Cardinals playing here tomorrow afternoon. The Rams are playing a preseason game here tomorrow night just down the road.
Well, you say you're here and you can't make a game a particular time. We've got 3 different times for you over the weekend. Stick around. There's got to be one
Yeah, tomorrow's 12:15 local time for the first pitch.
It's right after breakfast. That's about the time we were getting in this morning, wasn't it?
Just about, yep. It's kind of nice, though, to check into a hotel in the morning. They give you a newspaper along with your key. 1-2 the count. Braves arrived at their hotel this morning at 5:05 local time. After jumping 2 time zones from Phoenix.
And as it always happens when you're getting away, there was a delay on the runway and it changed, and there was some weather in the area in Phoenix.
But everybody made it. One and 2 on Lockhart. Matt Morris working his second inning. 2-2. We were talking when the last inning ended about Morris and Alan Bennis having a couple of guys like that out in your bullpen getting healthy again after having some arm problems. A couple of insurance policies if any of your starters go down.
Well, the Cardinals went through a stretch with some young pitchers here like the Mets did. Yeah. Remember, the Mets had a handful of youngsters that were going to be their starters for 10 or 12 years, and all of them ended up getting hurt.
That's a foul ball, still 3-2. Donovan Osborne was the guy that kept teasing him. That's Alan Bennis you're looking at now. But when Donovan Osborne was here, he'd come up and pitch 4, 5, 6 good games. Looked like he'd be over any ailments he had, and boom, another one would knock him down. And Morris came up, had some success, elbow. Bennis came up, had some success. He went out with arm problems.
And one of the Mets youngsters now having a great year with Oakland as a closer, Jason Isringhausen.
That's going to be a long throw necessary from Rentería. Got him. Good play. Look where he made that throw from.
And look how he made the throw. We're talking about the education of Rafael Furcal. I'm sure he took note of this. He didn't jump. He didn't try to throw off balance. Planted, came over the top, trusted it, gave Clark a backspin fastball that he could reach out and handle.
Got him. Now Mike Remlinger is going to bat for himself. This will be his third time up this year. He's 0 for 2. Actually, his fourth time up. He walked once. So Bobby Cox hoping for one more inning out of Remlinger. 1-1 the count. Good one.
Get some new Braves fans back in New Jersey tuning in tonight, Pete. The Bud Adrian family back there.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Kind of dangerous territory to be a Braves fan in, but they're working on it.
That's a foul ball.
And a nice play
by Steve Ripley. How many times do you hear an umpire get a hand for a defensive play?
And he can smile and nobody knows it too. Remminger threw a lot of pitches last inning.
Yeah, he did. I had him for 27. 3-2 on Mike Remlinger.
Those are not the numbers that will normally cause you to be pitched carefully.
Pretty well hit. Edmonds there. 2 down. And back we go to the top of the order now, and Rafael Furcal. Who has had another good night. Up 4 times, on 4 times. 2 walks, 2 singles. A stolen base. A pair of RBIs. A run scored. When Rafael Furcal went on the disabled list, didn't hear him talked about much in the Rookie of the Year talk anymore, because guys like Rick Ankiel over here with St. Louis and players like that were continuing to produce. But now you're starting to hear his name mentioned again. He's already stolen 24 bases. That's a record for a 19-year-old. His batting average back up over 300 now. And he's going to be playing every day.
Right. He and Moleskis. This conversation seems to sway back and forth with one or the other.
And Molesky just went on the DL with a bad shoulder, so you don't know how long he'll be out. So Furcal, again, resurfacing as a potential Rookie of the Year. 2-0. This is what impresses scouts who see him for the first time so much, his patience. Well, didn't even come close on 4 pitches there, and that's the 3rd time tonight he has walked. First walk issued by Morris. But he's not a real wild swinger up there. He gives you a lot of good at-bats. He worked the count to 3-2 in the first inning before drawing the walk, 3-2 in the 6th inning before drawing the walk. Now Andrew Jones.
He's probably apologizing to Will Clark for having to change gloves.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he said sorry about that. You could read his lips there.
A little protection for the right wrist.
He is one of the more polite individuals I've ever met.
And this conversation is about him, too, with Dave Duckett, I'll bet you. You know, keep an eye on him, but don't let the guy at the plate cost you 2. Make sure you give us a chance, give us a shot at throwing him out if he runs, but the guy at the plate is the guy you want with 2 outs.
It's a final now from Yankee Stadium. The Yankees beat Seattle 13-6, maintaining their 3.5 game lead over the Red Sox. Will Clark doesn't care.
He's probably sticking the needle in a little bit. I know he did it to you up in Baltimore.
He can do that. He can do that with the best of them.
Dry, rusty needles.
Yeah. Here's the 1-0. Runner going. There's the throw down. It's not going to be in time. Another stolen base for Furcal. Number 25.
No chance for Hernandez. At the first motion made by Morris, he was off and on the go. Oh, quick 2 steps, and he's going full speed. No chance.
2-0 the count, and Andrew. In the air, left center field and deep. Paquette on the run, and he can't get to this one. It's going to bounce over the wall into the Braves bullpen. Well, the stolen base by Furcal, again producing a run. If he doesn't steal second, he would have had to stop at third. And the Braves now lead it 6-4. RBI number 2 of the night, number 70 of the year for Andrew Jones.
And worrying about the stolen base and still not stopping it caused Morris to get a 2-0 count and then have to come in with a strike. Wanted to come inside, but didn't get it in there. Perfectly placed by Andrew. Split the gap between Paquette and Edman.
Andrew's 21st double of the year. Now Chipper, who's 0 for 4 tonight. He is struck out, fly to left, fly to center, grounded to second. 1 ball, no strikes. Chipper still looking for his first RBI on this road trip. Won't happen here. Shallow center field. Taken by Rentería. But a big insurance run posted by the Braves and a 2-out RBI double by Andrew Jones. It is 6-4 Atlanta.
Middle of the 8th, 6-4 Braves. Next on TBS, a jet carrying a U.S. space shuttle crashes into the ocean. But when the investigation begins, the spacecraft is gone and the James Bond adventure begins. Moonraker is coming up next on Dinner and a Movie. Annabelle and Paul will be preparing 007 Martini Fondue. Stirred, not shaken, if you please. That's coming up next on the Superstation.
Bottom half of the 8th inning. Mike Remlinger out there to try to get 3 more outs. Craig Paquette will lead it off. He flied to right as a pinch hitter and stayed in the game. Back in the 6th inning, he'll be followed by Edgar Rentería and then the pitcher's spot. Ball 1. Remlinger walked a couple in the 7th inning. Got out of a bases loaded jam. 10 men left on now by the Cardinals tonight. Gary Lightenberg in the Atlanta bullpen. Two and one on Paquette.
That extra run looks awfully big with Remlinger struggling a little bit with his control.
3-1. Another walk. Third walk he's given up. So Remlinger, the reliever with control problems tonight. And Edgar Rentería will be the batter. Andres Galarraga coming over to have a chat with Mike. Rentería tonight, a ground at the short, a sac fly to center, a single, and an RBI double. 2 for 3.
He's another guy that's a hacker, but one of the things about him that scares you a little bit, despite 1 for 12 against Remlinger, he has a dozen home runs, so he's got some pop.
Ball 1 to Rentería. really having trouble locating.
Yeah, he's having trouble with his mechanics now, and I think that pitch right there shows you the frustration. If you can't locate the fastball, then sometimes out of desperation you go to your second or third pitch and say, well, let me see if I can get this in the strike zone.
2-0 the count in Renteria.
Be alive on this one.
There's a strike, 2-1. Crowd didn't like that call, neither did Renteria.
He can't believe he called it. He jumped out of the way because he thought he had a 3-0 count on him. Fastball that only missed, if it is a strike, by 17 inches because Javi Lopez was set up on the outside corner and he nipped the inside corner.
Now the 2-1. Didn't get the changeup over either. 3-1 on Renteria.
Depending on what the call is, one manager or the other is going to be shaking his head, isn't he? In a game like this, on almost every pitch.
Now a 3-1. There's a strike, and it's full 3-2. Now we'll see if they send Paquette. Runner is going. The pitch lined into center field. Base hit. Paquette rounding second. He'll hold on there. Renteria drops the single into shallow center field. First and second now with nobody out.
That's what we were talking about earlier. He is such a good off-speed hitter. You make a good pitch with an off-speed, he can still put it in play.
Bobby Cox waiting for Tony La Russa to send up his pinch hitter, see who it's going to be. Sean Dunston announced as the pinch hitter. A piece of a pretty good bench the Cardinals have assembled. Dunston batting .239 with 9 homers, 35 RBIs. He's 3 for 22 as a pinch hitter, but 2 of those 3 hits have gone the distance. 2 pinch hit home runs this year for Dunston. Nobody out. Runners first and second. Lightenberg ready out in the Atlanta bullpen, but it looks like Bobby Cox going to stick with Remlinger here. I think what he wants to get Remlinger past is Jim Edmonds. He doesn't want to have a right-hander on the mound with Jim Edmonds coming to the plate.
He also might want Remlinger there in case Dunston is bunting, because Remlinger's momentum will carry him to third and make it easier for him to make that play.
First and second, nobody out. A 2-run lead for Atlanta in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
And he is probably a smoother fielder than Kerry Lightenberg, too.
Dunston has 4 sacrifice bunts this year.
He usually play to tie at home and play to win on the road.
Not squaring.
Jeez.
0-1. They go to the bunt attempt here.
Forget the book when you're talking about Tony La Russa. He throws it out. But there's another good reason. Actually, 3 good reasons. La Russa will do some unorthodox things. You read how many wins he has in the big leagues as a manager, so he's done it successfully.
The 0-1 on the way. Got the fastball by him, and quickly it's 0-2 on Dunston. Edmonds on deck.
Dunston is another guy that steps out of his car at 4:30 swinging. He's hard to walk, too.
Here comes the 0-2. Popped up foul, back out of play. Six runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for Atlanta. 4 runs, 9 hits, 4 errors for the Cardinals. Braves pitchers have walked 6. Cardinal pitchers have walked 5. Base runners galore tonight for both sides. Still 0-2 on Dunston. Whoever comes out the winner here isn't going to have much time either, because you got to be right back out here tomorrow for an early game. And win or lose, this is one of those games you're going to be exhausted when it's over. No matter which side of the score you're on.
Everybody is from top to bottom.
This has been going on since the first inning. Cardinals went up 2-0. Braves tied it up in the 3rd. Cardinals went back up in the bottom of the 3rd. Braves went ahead in the 4th. Cardinals got it back to within 1 in the 6th. Braves had 1 run back in the 8th. Now the Cardinals trying to get it back in their half. One ball, 2 strikes.
Crowd booing at the pitch there, but that wasn't a pitch trying to brush him off of the plate. He was trying to make a good pitch. He probably thinking the way he had thrown him so many pitches out away from him, if he could nail the inside corner, he might have gotten it taken.
Now 1-2 to Dunston. He steps out. That's an unusual spot to be wearing a guard, isn't it, on your left leg? Most of the time you see a hitter wear a guard, it's down around the lower part of the shin, not up around the knee like that.
Uppercut swinger who swings over the ball, fouls it straight down.
But fouls it high off his leg instead of down around the ankle. 1-2. Struck him out. Big strikeout for Remlinger. His 3rd. And here comes Jim Edmonds.
Struck him out with another pitch that right where he wanted it, right on the outside corner, right at the knees. Good spot.
Edmonds, a walk. He reached on an error, walked again, then struck out looking. 0 for 2. He has scored his 103rd run of the year. And as Don mentioned earlier, it doesn't really matter much. Talk about the book. The book doesn't count against him.
Edmonds didn't read it.
324 against lefties, 333 against righties. Coming into this game, 0-1 the count. Strike 2 called.
He's been calling the high strike all night long, and his strike has been east and west. And if it's gone north and south, he's called the upper part of it, not the lower part of it. So that's no change for Steve Ripley.
A 2-strike pitch. Seven pitches thrown in these 2 innings by Mike Remlinger. That'll burn him for at least tomorrow.
Yep, and might make it hard for him to be very effective for very long on Sunday.
He's only gotten 1 out so far in this inning. Two and two.
He wants to hit the inside corner. Just missed it. But see, that's that pitch where one dugout or the other is going to be unhappy with that one.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Edmonds. Another full count. Three-two counts on Will Clark and Carlos Hernandez in the 7th inning. Both wound up walking. A 3-2 count on Rentería in this inning. He had a base hit. Now it's 3-2 on Edmonds.
And that can't be encouraging to Mike Remlinger.
The runners at first and second. Paquette at second. Rentería at first. They are not going. 3-2 pitch is fouled away.
Poor Leo Mazzoni, when pitchers struggle like this, he looks like a basset hound over there. I mean, his face gets long enough to eat popcorn out of a milk bottle in innings like this.
Even the rocking stops.
Look at that.
Struck, or did he get a piece of it?
Got a piece of it, and it got a piece of Steve Ripley. Remember we were talking earlier over on radio about where
he leaves himself exposed.
Yep, he sets up on the inside corner. It doesn't matter where the catcher goes, and every now and then he'll get one like this foul. See how vulnerable he is? And that's a two-cushion shot, off the foot and off the leg.
Still 3-2 on Jim Edmonds. Jackie Gleason, Leo Mazzoni, watching from the Braves dugout. The poor soul. Remember that face?
Yep.
Runners not going. 3-2 pitch, line to center. Andrews going to play it on a hop. The bases will be loaded. Edmonds comes through with a single. They are loaded now for Eric Davis, and Bobby Cox is on his way out to bring on Kerry Lightenberg. So Remlinger worked out of a bases-loaded situation in the 7th inning. Tom Glavine worked out of a bases-loaded situation in the 5th inning. Now it's Kerry Lightenberg's turn as Atlanta Braves manager Bobby Cox makes the Bell South call to the bullpen.
Since the mall opened just out of town, Charlie Tucker has had a hard time selling anything around here. Good thing he signed that distribution deal with Asia and Latin America. Connect and create something. Bell South.
They call it the duel in the dust. And for those who compete, that's why battery so tough, so dependable, it comes Duralast battery from AutoZone.
It's leading at 6-4, but kind of hard to tell who's leading this game because every time you look up, there are 2 or 3 Cardinal base runners out there. Kerry Lightenberg is the 3rd Atlanta pitcher of the night, making his 37th appearance. 2-1 with 9 saves on the year. And he'll try to become, if he can finish this game, he would become the 3rd member of the Braves bullpen with double-digit saves. Remlinger has 10, Rocker has 14. And John Rocker, is he up now in the Braves bullpen?
I think that's Mulholland and Kamenicki.
Yeah, Mulholland and Kamenicki.
Double barrel activity behind him.
So lefty and a righty in the Braves bullpen again.
Kamenicki is already ready. He was throwing earlier. This is his 3rd time up.
And Eric Davis will be the batter with the bases loaded. The Cardinals have stranded 2 men in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th. And 10 already.
And that little lady had a 18-runner stranded limit. That was it. That's all she could take.
Well, we'll see how Lightenberg fares here with Eric Davis. Going to the 4th inning now in Arizona with the Mets still on top with the Diamondbacks and Randy Johnson 1-0. Cincinnati lost their game today, so the Cardinals will maintain at least a 5-game lead. And Lightenberg set to go to work now, and Eric Davis. Davis tonight 1 for 4. He singled back in the 3rd. One of those situations, if you're Bobby Cox, you would like nothing better than to see Lightenberg on 1 or 2 pitches get a double play ball right here and keep him fresh for the 9th inning. So you don't have to use another relief pitcher.
Well, he's averaging an RBI for every opportunity that he's had with the bases loaded.
Tough out here.
Yes,
Infield back.
And a fly ball hitter.
0-1. Edmonds at first, Rentería at second, Paquette at third, 1 out. One strike pitch. 1-1. Gremlinger working inning in the third, 2 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, no runs yet, but all 3 of the runners out there belong to him. Out of play, 1-2.
Hung that slider just ugly enough for him not to be able to handle it. Got it way out away from him.
Cleveland has beaten Anaheim 11-10. That's a final now. Wild one at Jacobs Field tonight. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Two on Eric Davis. Another full count. Payoff pitch. Bouncing ball off Leitenberg's glove. Furcal steps on second, on to first, got the double play. Leitenberg gets out of it by getting Eric Davis to hit into a 1-6-3 double play. The ball deflected by Leitenberg, but Rafael Furcal near the bag. Steps on second, on to first. The Braves survive another Cardinal threat. We head to the 9th.
I can't remember the last time you were in this church, Marshal. Now, what could be so important to bring you to us now?
If Kane and Miller meet, men are going to die.
Tell him I'm not here.
He'll know I'm lying. Why will you not listen to me?
I don't have time for this. He's coming on a noon train.
And I will be leaving on it.
Have you forgotten that he's crazy? Have you forgotten that he sat right there and he said, I'll be back. And I will kill you, Will Kane. I swear it, I will kill you.
Meet my 21st century family. They're always on the phone, or online, or out and about, and it all adds up. That's why we got the total package from US West. We get endless internet, phone service with tons of features. Oh, and Mr. Wireless gets 300 minutes and free long distance, all for $80 a month.
The total package from US West. Now, Quest.
Who knew the future would be so simple?
At Aaron's, it always costs less, a whole lot less. Take this kickin' Sony surround sound rack system. Aaron's guaranteed lowest price is just $109.99 a month for only 12 months. What a price! Complete with 5 speakers, 5-disc CD changer, dual cassette remote control, and Dolby Pro Logic. Just 12 payments of $109.99 for one awesome rack system. You don't need credit. You own it much sooner, and you get the guaranteed lowest price. So why pay more? Call Aaron's.
Here's the rest of the road trip for the Braves. It'll be the Cardinals tomorrow and the Cardinals on Sunday. These are Eastern Daylight Time. Braves Radio will have that. Another television outlet will have it for you. Then Monday and Tuesday we'll be back with you on TBS as we kick off a 3-game series against the Cincinnati Reds at Riverfront Stadium. Have they started hacking that up yet?
I don't think so. I don't think that begins until this season ends.
All right, and that's what's on tap for the Braves.
Sean Dunston in left now. He stays in the game. Craig Paquette, who was in left, moves to right. And the new pitcher, one of the free spirits in the game of baseball, right-hander Mike James. His 30th game, 0-2 with a .418 earned run average and 1 save. And he'll be facing Brian Jordan, Andres Galarraga, and V.J. Surhoff in the ninth. Morris worked 2 innings, allowed 2 hits, 1 run. He walked 1 and struck out 1. And now James going to work.
Probably has a lot of family and friends watching. He is out of Fort Walton Beach, still makes his home down there. Out of Fort Walton Beach High School and Lurleen Wallace Junior College in Andalusia, Alabama. Run into him periodically over the winter down at Destin and Fort Walton.
Originally in the Dodger organization, but he first made it to the big leagues with the Angels. Cardinals got him as a minor league free agent. And he goes to work against Brian Jordan here in the ninth. Jordan 2 out of 4. A single and a double. Didn't get the breaking ball 0-1.
It's fun when it all goes right, isn't it?
I think that same conversation is going on down there that Rufino Linares once had after a game-saving catch in Cincinnati. Ruthie, you one lucky guy. Because the Braves have gotten out of some messes tonight.
I don't know that if Houdini could have gotten out.
12 men left on base by the Cardinals. That was one of my favorite interviews of all time. During that 13-game winning streak in '82, Rufino Linares made a game-saving catch in the bottom half, I think, of the 12th inning.
Dove for it, didn't he?
Dove for it and caught it at Riverfront Stadium. Being interviewed after the game, he described the play. I look to the left, no ball. I look to the right, no ball. I look in my glove, there ball. I say, Rufy, you one lucky guy. In that gravelly voice of his. One of the all-time great quotes. 2-2 on Brian Jordan.
He may have been one of the original designated hitters, wasn't he?
He was a terrific hitter and a neat guy. Lost his life, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. I believe in an automobile accident. 2-2 on Brian Jordan. The 2-2 pitch. Still 2-2. .6-4 Atlanta, ninth inning, due up in the bottom of the ninth for the Cardinals. Fernando Tatis, Will Clark, Carlos Hernandez. Toward short, long throw required from Rentería. That got him.
He could do that.
You know, a lot of people think, Don, that just because of the way the infield is structured, that the guy that needs the strongest arm in the infield is the third baseman, but it's the shortstop. He's going to have the longest throws to make when he has to go in the hole like that.
And it's fun watching Rentería, too, because he knows his limitations. He knows he has a good arm. Before the good play that he made, it took a little bit longer. That time he got himself in a preset position, turned to the side so he could eliminate a split second on the throw. And those are all the things that Rafael Furcal is learning. I'm not going to say will learn because he's already learning them.
Galarraga lines one to right center field. That's his third hit of the night. Good save there by Edmonds. Galarraga's going to try for 2. Here's the throw. He slides in safely as the throw gets past Rentería. He hustled double for Galarraga.
And he may have caught Jim Edmonds patting himself on the back for making a good play. That ball took a funny skip out there off the grass. It had a little slice spin on it. A slider that hung up. There's a slice spin, and it's going to give it a funny bounce. An overspin bounce. When Edmonds comes up with it, you know, he's kind of proud of himself for making a play as he should have been, but Galarraga didn't hesitate.
Well, Andres tonight with a single, a double, and a homer. Missing only the triple. V.J. Surhoff 0 for 4 on his 36th birthday. Runner at second, 1 out. He has struck out twice, which is angering him a little bit.
And he's got to feel a little more comfortable now. At least he's going against a pitcher that he's familiar with.
Yeah. He did face James over in the American League. 1 for 2 against James in his career. Two balls, one strike. Mets just scored 4 runs in the 4th inning. They're up 5-0 on Arizona. And Randy Johnson. Two and 2 now on Surhoff. Braves have left 9 men on base tonight. Another one out there now. Surhoff grounds one foul off to the right.
You watch B.J. Surhoff play, you can see a lot of the influence of a Robin Yount and a Paul Molitor. Both of them not afraid to choke up on the bat a little bit with 2 strikes. Both of them played hard the whole time. And both of them took losing or not doing well very personally.
Little roller to third. Tatis holds the runner over to first in time.
Almost had Galarraga in no man's land. I don't think he knew how close he was to him. Probably at that time he just thinking, I got it out, I'm going to take it. Moving fastball off the end of the bat. Watch how close Galarraga gets to Tatis before decides to go back to second. Probably had him.
Now Javi Lopez is 1 for 4. Scott Kamenicki up in the Atlanta bullpen. Ball 1 away to Lopez. Strike, 1-1. Ninth inning, 2 outs, runner at second.
Running fastball and a flat slider. James is one of those pitchers that if he doesn't get the slider down, he gives you a long look at it as a right-handed hitter.
1-2. Pitch that Javi Lopez, from his reaction, thought he should have done a little more with and fouled it back.
And that's that slider we were talking about. He's thrown him 3. 2 of them have been about belt high, and they're almost like frisbees going out away from him on the outside part.
Here's the 1-2. Shallow center. Edmonds in the right spot. And that's it for Atlanta in the 9th inning. So the Braves leave another man on. Their 10th man left on base tonight. Cardinals have stranded 12, and they're coming up in the bottom of the 9th.
What turned
on base, leaving them loaded in the 5th, leaving a man at second in the 6th, leaving them loaded in the 7th, and having them loaded in the 8th with a double play into the inning. So it's just been one scoring threat after another, and through all that, from the 5th inning on, they've only managed 1 run. Terry Lightenberg trying to save it for Tom Glavine. Fernando Tatis will lead off tonight. He is 0 for 3.
And the Braves bench would relax and breathe a a couple of sighs of relief that they could see Kerry Leitenberg come out and throw some strikes here.
It has been walks that have prolonged some of these Cardinal innings. And there's a strike to Tatis to lead it off. In the last 4 innings, the 1 run scored by the Cardinals has come despite 5 hits, 5 walks. All in the last 4 innings, 1 run. The 1-1. 1-2. Will Clark waiting on deck. Still a ball and 2 strikes in Tatis.
Leitenberg looks a lot more comfortable here in the 9th than he did in the 8th, despite getting out of the jam. That's it for Tatis. That's out number 1 in the bottom half of the 9th inning. And now Will Clark. All fastballs till he got 2 strikes. And a perfect spot for a 2-strike slider. Started out a strike, but where Javi Lopez caught it, it wasn't one.
Looks like he's got the confidence back in that pitch. He was almost afraid to throw it early on in the year coming off that surgery.
And what he was doing, and I know it was part of the subconsciously because of the surgery, was dropping down, elbow against the chest or against the side like he was protecting it, and that caused the ball to sail up in a way and not really snap off against right-handers.
Will Clark a home run and 3 official at-bats tonight, also 1 walk. 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Two and 0. Another final in the American League. Oakland has beaten Chicago 5-3. That gets them to within a game of Seattle, who lost earlier tonight. Three and 0 on Will Clark. Here we go again. Another walk. 7th walk issued by Braves pitching.
And games like this are the reasons Bobby Cox bought a farm and a tractor to go to ride around on.
6 of the 7 walks have come since the 5th inning. Carlos Hernandez, the scheduled hitter, but Ray Langford has come out of the Cardinal dugout. He is a longtime Cardinal favorite. Having a little bit of a down year at 248, but he does have 17 homers, 47 RBIs, 1 out of 8 as a pinch hitter. There is no activity in the Braves bullpen. So it'll be Langford facing Leitenberg.
He's ready. Kamenicki is ready. By the time you got to the mound and made the change, that's how long it would take him to go. He's already thrown 3 times. You saw him walk past John Rocker. There's Terry Mulholland. Remember, Rocker threw a bunch of pitches last night.
Stan Belinda also out there. He warmed up earlier. Ball 1 outside to Langford. And Javi Lopez, who has caught a boatload of pitches back there tonight. 110 from Tom Glavine, 52 from Mike Remlinger. 16 now from Leitenberg.
See, Bobby Cox, when they're in Atlanta and there are games like this, it may be midnight when he gets home, but he goes and gets on his tractor and mows his pasture out there at his farm. That's how he recovers.
That's 188 pitches tonight thrown by the Braves. And here comes Bobby Cox.
Maybe the last pitch that Leitenberg is going to throw.
He may be going after Terry Mulholland, the left-hander, against the left-hander Langford. There's been no sign yet.
He's asking Javi Lopez some questions.
He wants it. He wants the lefty. So Leitenberg will be lifted here. After falling behind Langford, 1 ball, no strikes. Leitenberg winds up working 1 inning, got the big double play to end the 8th, and a big strikeout to start the 9th, but the walk to Will Clark and ball 1 to Ray Langford is the end of the night for Terry Leitenberg. On comes Terry Mulholland.
Go to freeinternet.com.
Pitcher number 4 of the night for Atlanta, left-hander Terry Mulholland. His 27th game, his 7th in relief. He'll be trying for his 2nd save of the year. 9-9 with a 5.67 ERA. And I'm not even sure he'll go beyond pitching to Langford here. You talk about a bullpen by committee. That is certainly what it's been this year for Atlanta. Rocker on top of the list with 14, most of them coming early in the season. Remlinger with 10, Leitenberg with 9. Rudy Cianez had a couple before he went down, and Kamenicki and Mulholland in their new roles each have recorded 1. And I'm not even sure if Mulholland's going to be around to try to get the save here. They may just have him go against the left-hand hitter Langford and then call on Scott Kamenicki to get the final out. Bobby Dews with a lineup card. They're letting Scott know who that hitter might be and who's left on the bench. It might be called on the pinch hit.
Langford might be a hitter that the lefty-righty does make a difference. About 100 points lower against left-handed pitching than he is against righties.
They still have J.D. Drew left. Fernando Vina banged up a little bit. Mike Matheny still left on the bench. 1 ball, no strikes to Langford. 2-0. Out of play along the left field line, 2-1.
Langford is not going to pull him. I'd sure like to see him hold the runner at first and not give Clark a running jump. He doesn't have the best of speed, but that extra step or 2 he's going to get by not holding him could be the difference in breaking up a double play or not breaking up a double play.
Langford, a lot of at-bats in his career against Mulholland. 12 for 48 with a couple of homers. Up and in, and the count 3-1 now on Langford. Placido Polanco on deck, but J.D. Drew has grabbed a bat and is starting to get loose in the Cardinal dugout. Another walk. Wow. The usually reliable control of Terry Mulholland. Not there for his first hitter. That's walk number 8 issued by Atlanta. 7 of them coming since the 5th inning. 2 more runners out there.
And you were right.
Here comes Bobby Cox with Placido Polanco. A right-hand hitter at the plate. It's going to be the right-hander Scott Kamenicki getting the call. And now we will see if Polanco stays in there or if J.D. Drew is called on to pinch hit for him. Bobby Cox grabs the ball. Terry Mulholland leaves after facing 1 hitter and walking him.
I want to encourage you to check out the authentic section of the Braves Clubhouse Collection online store. You'll find all of the authentic items that your favorite Braves players wear on the field, from practice t-shirts to game jerseys. It's all there. Just click on www.atlantabraves.com. Braves Clubhouse Collection store.
Well, yet one more arm out of the Braves bullpen to try to save this one. It belongs to Scott Kamenicki, his 9th game. 1-1, 1 save, a 3.12 earned run average. And As he completes his warm-ups, J.D. Drew has come out to pinch hit for Polanco. So it's going to be Drew facing Kamenicki. Drew, a .290 hitter with 15 homers and 43 RBIs, 2 out of 6 as a pinch hitter. I think when Scott Kamenicki was placed on waivers by the Cleveland Indians, I think Tim Drew was the guy they called up, J.D.'s brother, to pitch for the Indians. Kamenicki ready to go, and Drew is ready to go. First and second, 1 out. How many situations like this can you pitch out of in one game?
Well, if it goes the way it's gone for the Braves so far, luck has been their best friend tonight. Kamenicki, sinker, curveball guy, changeup guy. He can get a ground ball off the bat. That's what you're looking for right now.
Already 12 men left on base by the Cardinals. 2 more out there now with 1 out in the 9th. And Drew pinch hitting for Polanco.
I think Tom Glavine started this game, didn't he?
I think so. First pitch swinging, little pop-up into shallow left center field. Should be easy for Andrew Jones. 1 pitch for out number 2. And the Cardinals down to their last chance, Craig Paquette, who has flied to right and walked. This would be some job of pitching out of jams all night long from Tom Glavine, who after 6 innings of work had stranded 7 Cardinal runners. Then 3 more left on in the 7th against Remlinger, 2 more left on in the 8th against Remlinger and Leitenberg, and now 2 more out here in the 9th inning against Leitenberg, Mulholland, and Kamenicki. And the last chance for the Cardinals, Craig Paquette. Strike 1.
Well, one of the reasons we're still playing and the Cardinals haven't won it and stranded all those, 2 out of 14 with runners in scoring position tonight.
Right back at it tomorrow afternoon with John Burkett against Garrett Stevenson.
Why don't you take a day off tomorrow?
I think I'll do that.
Do that. I'll handle it for you.
Kevin Millwood, Darrell Kyle on Sunday night. I'll be here for that one. 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then we'll all be here on Monday night in Cincinnati for Greg Maddox's next start. A lot of people have always wanted to know how Greg Maddox would do against Ken Griffey Jr. Well, we'll find out on Monday. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Paquette.
I know in football they have the depth chart, and basketball too. Baseball doesn't necessarily have that. But if they did, a strike in and out here, and Scott Kamenicki could find himself climbing.
He can't even resist the smile now, because the first time one of his pitchers have been ahead in the count in about 4 innings.
So that's what it looks like.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Okay, back to business.
The 1-2 pitch on the way. Struck him out with a breaking ball. 14 St. Louis Cardinals stranded. Kamenicki saves it for Glavine, and the Braves are 6-4 winners in Game 1 of the 3-game set with St. Louis.
A lot of luck and a good night for Rafael Furcal. He was in the heart of most of what was going on. He's our AutoZone player of the game. His night began with a walk in the first, a single in the third, but an RBI single off of Bennis in the fourth. Drills it in the right field in front of Eric Davis. He will end up making it the third on the air. And then here's a stolen base. More steals than any other 19-year-old in the history of baseball, Rafael Furcal. And just to prove it wasn't a fluke that he's not one-dimensional, big play off the glove of Leitenberg into the hands of Furcal. 1-6-3, an inning-ending double play in the 8th inning. A good night all the way around. Perfect 5 for 5 on base and plate appearances. Rafael Furcal, our AutoZone player of the game. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll give you the rest of the totals and wrap it up. Braves win it 6-4.
After midnight.
The days are getting longer. Make the most of them. Go to Claritin.com or talk to your doctor for more information. By Office Depot, taking care of business one customer at a time with guaranteed low prices every day. By the Home Depot, proud supporter of the Atlanta Braves. And by Delta, fly listened to.
Everybody ran from the bench to the Maylocks jar. Get this one over with. The Braves win the first one. 6-4 is the score. The rest of the totals look like this. 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors with 10 stranded for the Braves. 4 runs, 10 hits, 4 errors, and 14 stranded for the Cardinals. Glavine picks up his 14th win. He really struggled all night, but he kept the Braves on top. Kamenicki came on, got 2 outs. He gets to save his second. By the way, Glavine 5-1 following a Braves loss. A great start for Will Clark here in St. Louis. A pretty emotional moment for everybody. And Rafael Furcal, that's just his name in the history book. 6-4 the score. The Braves win it, Pete.
And let me just say this one more time to make it an even 50. Ball 3. For all the latest scores and in-depth analysis, CNNSI.com is the place to go. Sports Illustrated at CNN Speed. Our next Braves telecast Monday night, 7:30 Eastern.